Chapter 12:21. Ever since the Norton Simon Museum's last theft, the security system had been upgraded. Even the security guards were fully armed. The security team had increased to 30 people. Even at night, there were still 15 people on duty. It was almost impossible to burglarize the Norton Simon Museum, unless Chun Zhao charged in and forced his way in. Otherwise, it was basically impossible to succeed. Also, Molly had said that it was Austria's national treasure. Stealing or robbing was impossible, so he could only buy it. Chun Zhao didn't plan on spending tens of millions of dollars on something that could only be used once. Mr. Chun, Molly said, maybe you're not interested, but Don Tucker definitely won't let something that can threaten him exist. Chun Zhao narrowed his eyes. Don Tucker wants to steal the sacred eye? Yes, that's what Thomas Bailey said. I'll give you an address. You and Thomas Bailey can stay there for a while. Chun Zhao gave Molly the address of the association's headquarters. But after you get there, you can't walk around casually because there are some secrets there. But as long as you stay there, I can guarantee your and your husband's safety. Okay, I understand. The next day, Chun Zhao brought Fei Lai and Zhilin back to Mirror Lake. They'd experienced the experience here. Fei Lai and Zhilin still liked home. After all, there were people serving them at home. A group of underlings would come whenever they were called. Dell and Risfar's hotel was good, but it wasn't as convenient as home. Chun Zhao also didn't let Zhilin enter the hotel's public swimming pool. Who knew how dirty the public swimming pool was? No one knew what people left in it. Fei Lai was already 25 weeks pregnant. Her belly was already huge. Chun Zhao and Fei Lai were both looking forward to the birth of their second child. Chun Zhao also accompanied Fei Lai to do a pregnancy test. The child was very healthy. Chun Zhao didn't go out these 2 days. He just accompanied Fei Lai and Zhilin. He played the piano and read at home. To be honest, Chun Zhao didn't dare to use much strength on the heavy sword that Jinkira had made for him. He was afraid that it would break accidentally. This made Chun Zhao very depressed. If he didn't use much strength, a weapon was no different from nothing. It wasn't as comfortable as swinging his fist. On the other hand, the 12 light swords forged by Dongye Tianqi were much easier to use. Chun Zhao wanted to create something like sword qi or knife qi. Just like Dongye Tianqi, he could unleash the power of his blade. However, Chun Zhao couldn't do it. This wasn't the path he was taking. Chun Zhao entered the river map and spent a lot of time there. Chun Zhao, Old Turtle said, looking at Chun Zhao. You've been here quite frequently these days. He was still fishing and cultivating his state of mind. You really brought a lot of things. I plan to forge a sword myself and start learning from the beginning. I have plenty of time anyway. I'm afraid you won't be able to learn it, even if you study for the rest of your life. I have plenty of time. I'm not afraid. Some people are born unsuited for this. Not to mention ordinary blacksmiths. Even skilled blacksmiths need to have the right state of mind to forge weapons. With your state of mind, you will never be able to forge a good weapon in your lifetime. Old Turtle said, that's not something time can make up for. Even if you forge for the rest of your life, you'll only become a good blacksmith. You won't become a good blacksmith. Old Turtle's words dispelled Chun Zhao's thoughts. But I just lack a good weapon right now, Chun Zhao said, depressed. Since ancient times, few people who have reached your level have lived by relying on weapons forged by others. Then what should I do? Empty-handed? At your level, creating a spell should be a piece of cake for you. Chun Zhao glanced at Old Turtle. Although he was at this level, he didn't walk the path of meditation, so he lacked basic knowledge. Chun Zhao's main focus was still the Qingyi manual. He could memorize the incantations in the manual by heart. However, he didn't know much about Taoism's thoughts and knowledge. Usually, Taoist cultivators' theoretical realms were higher than their actual realms. Right now, Chun Zhao's actual realm was higher than his theoretical realm. He couldn't create his own spell. He should study the Qingyi sect's records first. The founder of the Qingyi sect, Shangliu Qingyi, was an ultimate transformation master. Most of the records were created by Shangliu Qingyi when he was in the ultimate transformation realm. However, most of them were based on Mountain spells. To put it bluntly, Shangliu Qingyi was standing on the shoulders of a giant. Although Shangliu Qingyi's realm was lower than Chun Zhao's, It didn't mean that the spells he created weren't suitable for Chen Zhao. Shangliu Qingyi was clearly a person whose theoretical realm was higher than his actual realm. Many of his spells were based on the ultimate transformation realm and looked at the Shangqing realm. These techniques could be used under the ultimate transformation realm, and they could also be used above the ultimate transformation realm. Most of the spells of the Qingyi sect were like this. Because of this, the Qingyi sect had never been famous. Because the spells of the Qingyi sect looked ordinary and unremarkable. These spells were most suitable to be used in the ultimate transformation realm, because they were spells that Shangliu Qingyi had created for the ultimate transformation realm or the Shangqing realm. When used below the ultimate transformation realm, their power would naturally decrease. Because of this, outsiders didn't think that the spells of the Qingyi sect were just so. After Shangliu Qingyi, the Qingyi sect didn't have a single ultimate transformation disciple. Chen Zhao could be counted as half, but that was all he could do. The members of the Qingyi sect had always been more theoretical than actual. For example, Li Qing's theoretical realm was even higher than Chen Zhao's. "Come, sit with me for a while and calm down." Old Turtle waved his hand. Chen Zhao glanced at the Old Turtle. He couldn't sit for decades like the Old Turtle. "Your biggest problem now is that you've learned too many things," Old Turtle said. Old Turtle said, "You have two bloodlines in your body, many special abilities, the spells of the Qingyi sect, the rhythmic sword manipulation art, and the outside body incarnation. Any one of these abilities of yours is enough to stand on your own. However, you're a mixed bag. You have reached the Shangqing realm, but your strength is not there yet." Chen Zhao frowned. "I've reached the realm, but why isn't my power? Ever since I understood the clarity of heaven and earth, I feel like I've become much stronger." "What you feel is actual improvement. You've always focused on breaking through spells with force. So, after understanding the clarity of heaven and earth, what you feel is the improvement of your body. This feeling is the most obvious, but do you really have the power to understand the clarity of heaven and earth?" Hearing this, Chen Zhao fell into deep thought. Chapter 12:22. Chen Zhao had been sitting by the river for 10 days and 10 nights. After 10 days, Chen Zhao still hadn't gained anything. No wonder the ancient cultivators usually went into seclusion for 3 to 5 years. With Chen Zhao's personality, he really wasn't suitable to be a cultivator. However, Chen Zhao's greatest advantage was time. Old Turtle sat beside Chen Zhao and spoke for the first time in 10 days. To draw, you have to draw the outline. To write a book, you have to write the outline. To create a spell, you have to create the intention first. If you don't even know what intention you want to create, how are you going to do it? Intention? Chen Zhao sat for another 10 days. There were too many thoughts in Chen Zhao's mind. Too many thoughts actually delayed Chen Zhao's thinking. On the 11th day, an idea suddenly flashed through Chen Zhao's mind. Why did he think so much? His comprehension wasn't high, and his Taoist theories were shallow. Thinking so much about the complicated nature of heaven and earth was just asking for trouble. He didn't need to think about whether he should pass it down or pass it on to his descendants. What he needed was a spell that was suitable for him, a spell that could fully unleash his power. It was just that simple. After thinking through this, Chen Zhao was suddenly enlightened. His thoughts spun extremely quickly. Soon, an idea appeared. Suddenly, Chen Zhao split into 12 clones. Then, the dark lava surged into the 12 clones and corroded them. Then, the dark lava fused into Chen Zhao's real body. The 12 clones were connected by the dark lava. All of their power fused into Chen Zhao's real body. Chen Zhao felt an unprecedented surge in his body. Chen Zhao didn't know how much power he had now. But now, Chen Zhao had merged the 12 clones and his real body into one. If the clones were created after splitting, then now it was 10,000 techniques returned to one. There were no complicated operations. It was just a simple thought. With his real body as the base, Chen Zhao's power instantly multiplied. When he was in the ultimate transformation realm, Chen Zhao already had the limit of close to 200 tons of strength. After the world became clear his body underwent a qualitative leap again. His power multiplied again. Now, with the 10,000 techniques returned to 1, it multiplied again. Right now, Chun Zhao's power had reached a terrifying level. That wasn't all. If Chun Zhao received an external impact or attack, he could also transmit the impact to his clone through the dark lava. Chun Zhao's defense reached an unprecedented level. Old Turtle opened his eyes again and looked at him. What is this spell called? All techniques return to 1. The name is a bit big, but it's quite appropriate for your spell. You'll have to continue perfecting it in the future. What you've done so far is enough. Chun Zhao left the river diagram. After many days of comprehension, he finally had a good result. 20 days in the river diagram was only an hour in the outside world. At the moment, there were 2 places that could help Chun Zhao the most. One was the river diagram. It gave Chun Zhao enough time to cultivate, and Old Turtle could teach him. The other place was the Tower of Trials, which was the place of proof. Everything Chun Zhao had learned and thought had to be proven in the Tower of Trials. Ever since Chun Zhao had comprehended the clarity of heaven and earth, he hadn't had any interest in the Tower of Trials. He hadn't entered the Tower of Trials because he had barely passed the 7th level when he was in ultimate transformation. Then, after comprehending the clarity of heaven and earth, Chun Zhao kept feeling that he was missing something. After coming out of the river diagram, Chun Zhao finally felt that he had made up for what he was missing. Then he went straight to the headquarters of the association. Without greeting anyone, he entered the Tower of Trials directly. The monster on the 7th level was a lava giant. It was also where the bronze sword had broken. That was probably Chun Zhao's toughest battle. One had to kill 1,000 lava giants in order to clear this stage. The 8th level would definitely be several times more difficult than the 7th. After entering the 8th level, Chun Zhao realized that he was on a turbulent ocean. Chun Zhao flew up and hovered above the surface of the sea. Right now, Chun Zhao's heart was as calm as still water. He allowed the waves to surge. A small world opened up, covering both the surface and the bottom. Chun Zhao didn't know where the attack would come from. Suddenly, Chun Zhao felt something approaching underwater. It had entered his small world. The next moment, a bloody mouth lunged at Chun Zhao from below. It was a huge shark, more than 30 meters long. Its 2 dorsal fins were arranged side by side like 2 rows of blades. On both sides of this huge shark's bloody mouth, there was a pair of exposed, bony teeth that looked like pincers. Frenzied Ocean Demon was the shark's name. The Frenzied Ocean Demon didn't use its mouth to bite Chun Zhao. Instead, it shot out a water column. Chun Zhao quickly dodged. The water column shot up to 100 meters in the air. It was obvious how powerful it was. If Chun Zhao was hit by the water column in the air, he would probably be injured. Chun Zhao landed immediately. He charged into the Frenzied Ocean Demon's mouth and tore it apart with brute force. One Frenzied Ocean Demon clearly wasn't a threat to Chun Zhao. He stood on its corpse, floating on the surface, and gazed into the distance. Just then, the surface of the sea in the distance started rolling. It was as if thousands of soldiers were charging at Chun Zhao. It was thousands of Frenzied Ocean Demons stirring up waves. Frenzied Ocean Demons were water hell creatures. One Frenzied Ocean Demon could shoot out water spells, so it wasn't strange for thousands of them to raise huge waves. Chun Zhao took a deep breath and looked at the 10-meter-tall waves in the distance. He could totally hide in the sky. However, he'd come to the 8th level of the Tower of Trials to prove his self-created spells return to 1. If he avoided it, it would be meaningless for him to come here. Chun Zhao immediately activated 10,000 spells return to 1. Facing the huge wave that was surging toward him, Chun Zhao's eyes widened. The waves arrived, but the next moment, Chun Zhao was sent flying by them. Chun Zhao could feel his body crumbling. Instant kill. Dead. Chun Zhao left the Tower of Trials and was dumbfounded. He'd been too pretentious. Even he didn't expect to be instantly killed. The waves created by thousands of Frenzied Ocean Demons weren't stacked on top of each other. Instead, they were attacking as one. It was similar to Chun Zhao's spells return to 1. It was also the combined attack of thousands of frenzied ocean demons. No matter how strong Chun Zhao was, he couldn't fight against thousands of frenzied ocean demons alone. This was a clash of absolute power. Chun Zhao lost. He'd lost completely. He'd lost without any suspense. This was the result of being too arrogant. When Chun Zhao had comprehended spells return to 1, he'd almost thought he was invincible. But the 8th level of the Tower of Trials had slapped him hard in the face. Although he was depressed, it also made Chun Zhao even more excited. After all, this was his true defeat. Chun Zhao had already reimagined and rearranged his strategy. He definitely couldn't fight head-on. Even spells returned to 1 couldn't fight against that level of power. So, one way to pass was to avoid the combined attack of the frenzied ocean demons and then break them apart. Chapter 1223. It was almost impossible to fight the frenzied sea demons head-on the 8th floor. Based on individual strength, a single frenzied sea demon should be able to shoot out around 30 tons of water. Then 1,000 frenzied sea demons would create a huge wave of 30,000 tons. Thousands of frenzied sea demons attacking at the same time would exceed 100,000 tons. Most importantly, when they united, they were able to concentrate all of their power. This was the scariest part about them. Unless Chun Zhao's strength and resistance could increase by 20 times, he wouldn't be killed instantly. This was clearly impossible. At least, Chun Zhao couldn't do it now. This gap was no longer a gap of 1 level, but a gap of a whole realm. Actually, if he dodged the first wave, it wouldn't be hard to break through the 8th floor. At least, Chun Zhao had the ability. It wasn't impossible to kill 1,000 frenzied sea demons. However, Chun Zhao didn't want to use a roundabout method. He hoped that he wouldn't avoid the first attack. Currently, if Chun Zhao wanted to increase his strength, he had to expand the coverage of the small world and increase the number of clones. Chun Zhao couldn't create thousands of clones like Old Turtle. Moreover, this kind of clone could create 12 clones for the first time. The next upgrade wouldn't be from 12 to 13, but multiple times. The first time, he could create 12 clones. The second upgrade would create 24, the third would be 48, and the fourth would be 96. Chun Zhao's clones were formed before he reached ultimate transformation. Now that the world was clear, the quality and quantity of his magic were more than 10 times stronger than before. The problem was that the quality of his clones had also increased. It was like how Chun Zhao could afford 12 tractors in the past, but he could afford 12 supercars now. But if he wanted to buy 24 supercars, he wouldn't be able to afford it. That was the logic. It was the same for clones. Whether it was expanding the small world or multiplying the number of clones, he couldn't do it in a short period of time. Chun Zhao planned to go to the Norton Simon Museum to see the situation there. The security at the Norton Simon Museum was very strict. Every visitor had to go through a metal detector before entering the museum. Entering the museum, Chun Zhao found the sacred eye. The sacred eye was carved into a hexagonal gem. The gemstone's milky white color was familiar, but even through the bulletproof glass, Chun Zhao could still feel a hint of holiness. Chun Zhao rubbed his eyes. Damn, isn't this holy eye angelic crystal? No one in the world was more familiar with angelic crystals than him. This should be a perfect angelic crystal, but after hundreds of years of wear and tear, this angelic crystal had lost too much of its holy aura. Chun Zhao was a bit disappointed. He thought it was something good and had been eyeing it for a few days. In the end, it was just this, but Chun Zhao was very happy. He had a lot of perfect angelic crystals and even super perfect angelic crystals. After Chun Zhao left the Norton Simon Museum, he did not go far. Instead, he waited for night to fall. Night gradually fell. Chun Zhao saw a modified armored vehicle charge into the museum. Then intense gunshots and explosions sounded from the museum. Chun Zhao was a bit speechless. These people were really bold. At the very least, Chun Zhao wouldn't dare to launch such a brazen attack. In less than 5 minutes, the armored vehicle appeared. After the armored car drove out of the museum, it entered the compartment of a large truck and disappeared into the night. Chun Zhao followed them all the way but he didn't drive. Instead, he hid in the air. In order to move in the night, Chun Zhao wore a black suit today. It was very hidden in the night. Plus, he was 100 meters in the air, so it was difficult for the robbers to discover him. In the truck, a few people got off the armored vehicle. There was also a tall woman standing in the carriage. She wore a camouflage uniform and crossed her arms in front of her chest. Looking at her companions, she asked, "Benris, did you get it?" "Yes." Benris took out the holy eye. "Send that person a message," the camouflaged woman said. "He sent us a message to meet at the end of Route 22. The end of Route 22? How far is it from here? 40 kilometers from the city. It's a desert." Benris looked at the coordinates on the map and then said, "Nikki, should we prepare?" "Just do what you usually do this time," Nikki said. "Don't go overboard in case that person notices anything wrong." Half an hour later, the car reached the end of Route 22. Drive the armored vehicle down, just in case. The armored vehicle was modified from an off-road vehicle, but its performance was very similar to an armored vehicle. It was also equipped with many military weapons, such as a 12mm machine gun and a continuous machine gun. These were all weapons that only the military could equip. It was already a small war fortress. Everyone held a machine gun and wore night vision goggles, waiting for their target to arrive. "There's no thermal imaging within a kilometer," Benris said gloomily, looking around. "Did that person give the wrong address?" "Patience," Nikki said calmly, standing on the hood of the armored vehicle. Suddenly, Nikki saw a figure walking over in the distance. "400 meters southwest," Nikki said. Benris turned in the direction Nikki was looking at, but the night vision goggles didn't find anything. It was empty. "There's nothing over there?" Nikki frowned. "Take off the night vision goggles and look again." Benris pulled on the night vision goggles and looked southwest. Indeed, he saw a person walking towards them. That's strange. He clearly saw the person with his eyes, but why couldn't the night vision goggles detect him? "Maybe he's wearing some kind of heat-blocking device," Nikki said. "Is that person a missionary?" Nikki watched the person walk closer. He was indeed dressed like a missionary. He wore a priest's gray robe and a small round hat, holding an old Bible in his hand. "Hello, lost sheep. I'm Don Tucker, your employer." Don Tucker was like a kind priest. He had a gentle smile on his face, and his tone was so gentle that it was hard to be wary. Chapter 12:24. Nikki looked at Tan Tucker. Suddenly, a cold breeze blew past. Nikki's body trembled, and he became more alert. "Mr. Tucker, let's make a deal first. We brought what you want. Where's our money?" "I didn't bring any," Tan Tucker said with a faint smile. "Are you messing with us?" Nikki raised his gun and pointed at Tan Tucker's forehead. "There's a box over there," Tan Tucker said, pointing to the left. "Ben Harris, go take a look." Ben Harris walked a few steps and saw 4 big boxes in front of him. Ben Harris raised his hand, but couldn't lift it. "So heavy. What's in a box?" Ben Leasy opened the box and was instantly blinded by the dazzling golden object in front of him. "Nikki, someone come and carry it over." A few people ran over. They were also shocked by the things in the box. Gold, so much gold. Nikki was also stunned when he saw everyone carrying the 4 big boxes over. "There's 500 kilograms of gold here. I think it should be enough to pay you." Tan Tucker smiled faintly. "You didn't say you would pay us with gold." "They had to sell the gold first, so they had to pay for it." "Where's the thing I want?" Tan Tucker didn't care about Nikki's dissatisfaction. Nikki took out the eye of holy ground and extended his hand in front of Don Tucker. Tan Tucker extended his dry hand and picked up the sacred eye. A strange smile appeared on his face. Suddenly, Don Tucker clenched his fist and crushed the eye of the Holy Land. "You!" Tan Tucker's smile turned cold. "It's fake." "Miss Nikki, is this how you do things?" "How can you say it's fake?" Nikki's expression turned unnatural too. Tan Tucker's gaze was cold, as if he wanted to penetrate Nikki. "If I say it's fake, then it's fake. This is what we took from Norton Simon Museum. If you say it's fake, I don't have anything else." A murderous glint flashed in Tucker's eyes. "You think I'm easy to fool?" Don Tucker's face started to change, turning dark gray. A wound appeared between his brows. Just then, Nicky suddenly raised his gun and fired a shot at Doan Tucker's forehead. The bullet hit Doan Tucker between his eyebrows. Then, white lines started to appear on his forehead. Doan Tucker's expression became pained. He was shocked. How was this possible? Nicky immediately took a few steps back. Is it strange that the fallen of the church sold their souls to the devil? Doan Tucker's pained expression suddenly froze and became strange again. Since you know who I am, then you must be Knights of the Magic Palace, right? That's right. We are the Knights of the Magic Palace. Doan Tucker used his finger to dig the hole between his brows. Soon, a milky white bullet was dug out. I didn't expect the eye of holiness to be in your hands. You even made it into a bullet. Did you do this to lure me? Nicky and the rest raised their guns and pointed at Doan Tucker. Everyone's expression became serious. How is this possible? Why didn't it work? The bullet had clearly pierced through his head. Why didn't it kill the fallen? Didn't they say that the Eye of Holiness was his nemesis? Why didn't it work? Doan Tucker held the Eye of Holiness that had been made into a bullet. You don't know, right? I was the one who spread the news that I was restrained by the Eye of Holiness. Doan Tucker's smile became even more strange. I've been waiting for the day when you personally deliver the Eye of Holiness to me. Now, my wish has finally come true. Shoot. Nicky shouted. Everyone was pouring bullets at Doan Tucker. A pair of demon wings suddenly extended from Doan Tucker's back and blocked in front of him. All the bullets were blocked by the wing. Even the small-caliber cannons were unharmed. Not only was Doan Tucker unharmed, but his demon wings also grew bigger and bigger under the barrage of bullets. Soon, they were as big as a wall. One had to know that their weapons and ammunition were all specially used to deal with evil creatures. They were either soaked in holy water or silver bullets. If an ordinary evil spirit was shot, it would be instantly destroyed. But not only was Doan Tucker not injured, he became even stronger. He was absorbing the holy power contained in the attacks. Stop! Nicky shouted anxiously. She already knew that she was facing a terrifying monster. But in the Magic Palace's records, there was no record of Doan Tucker's abilities. The only record was that Doan Tucker was afraid of the Eye of Holiness. But they didn't expect that even this useful information was a trap in the end. Doan Tucker only moved his demon wings away after the attack stopped. He held the Eye of Holiness tightly in his hand. Nicky, what is he doing? He seems to be absorbing the holy power. How is this possible? He's a demon. A pair of flawless white wings began to extend from Doan Tucker's back. Everyone's expression changed again. How is this possible? The pair of wings was filled with a holy radiance. Doan Tucker's face was filled with enjoyment. His body was quickly recovering its vitality. His old body was becoming younger. At the same time, he was becoming stronger. I did it. Doan Tucker looked at his angel wings in surprise. At this time, the Eye of Holiness in his hand had been completely drained of its holy power. It turned into dust in his hand. Demon die. A knight suddenly charged at Doan Tucker. Doan Tucker raised his head to look at the knight. His white wings drew an arc in the air, stained with blood. The knight froze on the spot. His head slowly slid down. But the next moment, the knight's body suddenly exploded. Boom! The flames from the explosion engulfed Doan Tucker. Everyone looked at the center of the explosion. Doan Tucker's body was unharmed. Doan Tucker pointed. The flames from the explosion quickly shrank into a fireball and gathered in his palm. Then, Doan Tucker pointed at the armored car and fired a fireball. Boom! Chapter 1225. Monster. That was the word that popped into everyone's mind. Doan Tucker ran his fingers through his blonde hair. He was in no hurry to kill the Magic Palace Knights. He was showing off his power. Just then, a whirring sound came from afar. Two armed helicopters appeared above their heads. The two attack helicopters launched an attack on Doan Tucker without any warning. Doan Tucker flapped his white wings. Countless beams of white light shot toward the two helicopters. One of the attack helicopters immediately crashed. The other one dodged the white light attack and continued to attack Doan Tucker. Doan Tucker raised his right arm. A red magic array appeared on the helicopter's wound. A bloody red hand burrowed out of the array. The helicopter's propeller shredded the hand, but the helicopter lost control and fell. Everyone's faces were filled with fear. Too powerful. This demon was too powerful. Even the most advanced weapons in modern warfare seemed so powerless in front of him. Submit to me. Don Tucker looked at the crowd. I will grant you glory and wealth. Demon, in your dreams. Nikki refused Don Tucker's request without hesitation. They came from the Magic Palace and had gone through countless trials. They had unwavering willpower. Perhaps they would be afraid, but fear would only make them more determined in their beliefs. Justice will prevail. Justice will prevail. Everyone was chanting their own slogan. Their eyes were filled with the determination to face death. Justice will prevail? Don Tucker laughed. Then I will let you die in the name of justice. Don Tucker raised a hand and opened his palm, pointing at the sky. All of you will receive the judgment of justice. Suddenly, a golden magic array appeared beneath everyone's feet. They discovered that they could not leave the array. They were all trapped within it. Above their heads, a dazzling golden inverted blade appeared. It was like the sword of Damocles, pointing at their heads. I will ask you one last time. Will you submit or not? Don Tucker shouted. But at that moment, Don Tucker's voice suddenly paused. This was because he discovered that a golden magic array had appeared in the darkness a dozen meters away. Don Tucker's judgment of justice covered a radius of 100 meters. In other words, as long as they were within 100 meters, everyone would have to face his judgment. A golden magic array had appeared in that shadowy place, which meant that there was another person hiding there. And this person was someone that he had never discovered. Chun Zhao was rather depressed. He didn't expect that he would be discovered like this. He was implicated for no reason at all. Originally, he planned to continue watching the show. Everyone had also noticed the golden magic array that had appeared not far away, and there was a figure inside it. Who else was here? Don Tucker's accomplice? Or was it a third party? Moreover, it was just a dozen meters away from them in the haystack. It was so close, but they didn't notice it at all. Tan Tucker looked at him. Who are you? He didn't know. Not his accomplice. Nikki and the others thought to themselves. This man was wearing a suit and looked quite decent. He looked like a white-collar worker. Could it be someone who accidentally barged into this place? However, this was the wilderness. What was a white-collar worker doing here? Chun Zhao rubbed his nose, his expression somewhat awkward. If I said I was lost, would you believe me? Chun Zhao shrugged. Tan Tucker snorted. Do you think I'm an idiot? I'm really lost, Chun Zhao said helplessly. I don't know how I got here either. Chun Zhao's harmless expression was really confusing. You're asking for it. Tan Tucker wasn't so easily fooled. He pressed down with his palm. The golden blade above, Chun Zhao's head fell down and hit his head directly. Chun Zhao fell to the ground. Just when Tan Tucker thought that he was dead, he stood up again. Chun Zhao patted the dust off his body. Do you know that my clothes cost $2,000? Tan Tucker narrowed his eyes at Chun Zhao. You're not dead. Nikki and the others were all shocked. This man was unharmed? How'd he do it? Suddenly, Tan Tucker thought of something. You're the president of the supernatural organization? The man who had 1/3 of Kong Mosa's soul? From your tone, you don't seem to respect Kong Mosa that much. To me, he's just a stepping stone, Tan Tucker said indifferently. I need his demonic power. He's useless now. I've obtained the power I need. The angelic and demonic powers have merged perfectly in my body. I don't need to pretend to serve him anymore. He's still sealed. Even if he's standing before me, I'll tell him the same thing. He can't enslave me anymore. Don Tucker looked at Chun Zhao. But I didn't expect you to appear before me on your own. I'm easy to talk to, Chun Zhao said with a smile. Since you don't need to be loyal to Kong Mosa, we're not enemies. There's no need for war between us, right? Huh. Tan Tucker laughed. I like you, lowly, shameless human. Fine, I'll give you a chance to serve me. Chun Zhao pursed his lips. After being a dog for so long, you think you can be the master after getting a mouthful of food. It's not good to feel good about yourself. Nikki and the others were surprised by Chun Zhao's audacity. Even they had to be careful when facing Don Tucker. But this man was insulting Tan Tucker directly. Do you know what you're saying? As expected, Don Tucker's face turned cold and gloomy. Of course, this means we'll be enemies. Since we're enemies, why should I show respect to a dying dog? Tan Tucker pointed at Chun Zhao. A magic array appeared behind Chun Zhao. A bloody hand reached out from the array and grabbed Chun Zhao. Human, looks like I have to tell you that you must show respect to an enemy you can't defeat. Chapter 12:26. Everyone thought that Chun Zhao was just bragging. He'd already been caught, but he was still boasting shamelessly. Wearing a cruel smile, Tan Tucker said, "I admire your arrogance, but I hate your ignorance. So die." Tan Tucker clenched his fists. The bloody hand that was grabbing Chun Zhao also tightened. Chun Zhao screamed. "Ow, ow, ow. I'm dying. I'm dying." Chun Zhao stuck out his tongue and tilted his neck. He was silent. Everyone suddenly had a funny feeling. It was rare to see someone die in such a funny way. Just when everyone thought that Chun Zhao was dead, Chun Zhao suddenly straightened his neck and opened his eyes. Chun Zhao suddenly straightened his neck and opened his eyes. I'm alive again. The only one who didn't enjoy Chun Zhao's performance was probably Tan Tucker. Tan Tucker could feel that Chun Zhao was playing with him. He grabbed at Chun Zhao at the same time. 4 magic formations appeared around Chun Zhao. 4 bloody hands reached out at the same time and grabbed Chun Zhao's limbs. The 4 bloody hands pulled in different directions, as if they wanted to dismember Chun Zhao. However, after pulling for a long time, they still couldn't dismember Chun Zhao. By the way, did you learn how to massage? Your technique is really good at loosening tendons and activating arteries. Chun Zhao's tone was teasing. This infuriated Tan Tucker quite a bit. Right now, Tan Tucker was like an erupting volcano. Die! A huge magic formation appeared above Chun Zhao's head. Large amounts of red, filthy water surged out of the formation. The filthy water came from the blood river in hell. There were also countless evil spirits in it. They completely covered Chun Zhao. Everyone's expressions changed. Being bitten and eaten by evil spirits was the most painful way to die. Suddenly, a beam of white light shone from the center. In an instant, all the evil spirits were wiped out, and all the filthy water evaporated in an instant. Chun Zhao stood there unscathed. No, he wasn't completely unscathed. His neat suit was now in a mess. He looked like a beggar's gang member. He didn't die. How did this guy do it? Nikki's face was filled with disbelief. This was a wizard. How could he be so strong? After all, Nikki was a witch. However, because she had awakened on the first night, her talent was very low. Later, she did not have much potential in magic, and eventually turned to become a knight. Because she had a certain magic foundation, she was like a fish in water after turning into a knight. Because of this, she knew that magic required talent, especially for wizards. Wizards were several times weaker than witches, and most wizards only knew 1 or 2 spells in their lifetime. However, the man in front of her was clearly an anomaly. You made me lose $2,000. Chun Zhao adjusted his collar. Chun Zhao looked at the chest of gold in the distance and walked toward it. He picked up a piece of gold and looked at it. Fuck, demon gold. Chun Zhao kicked the box over angrily. Tan Tucker's face darkened. This guy was harder to deal with than he had imagined. His repeated attacks had actually left him completely unscathed. It seemed that he had to get serious. Chun Zhao walked toward Tan Tucker. Tan Tucker immediately retreated. He was a mage-type demon, so he didn't like people approaching him, especially when the other party was an enemy. Tan Tucker cast another spell. Gold Domain. Just then, dozens of golden chains appeared in the air and tied Chun Zhao up like a dumpling. But in the next instant, all the golden chains were broken. Tan Tucker retreated again and cast another spell. Holy Barrier. Chun Zhao swung his fist, and the holy barrier shattered like a mirror. By then, Chun Zhao had already approached Tan Tucker. Tan Tucker's demon and angel wings enveloped Chun Zhao at the same time. Chun Zhao opened his arms and grabbed the demon and angel wings. A cruel smile appeared on Chun Zhao's face. Tan Tucker's expression suddenly turned ugly. He realized that he couldn't move his wings. He couldn't even pull them back. Tan Tucker pressed his palms against Chun Zhao's chest. Destructive blast. Boom. Amidst the huge explosion, Chun Zhao still held onto Tan Tucker's wings tightly. Are you tickling me? The edges of Tan Tucker's angel wings suddenly turned into sharp blades. But the next moment, Chun Zhao increased his strength and crushed Tan Tucker's angel wings. Ah! Tan Tucker finally let out a pained cry. Chun Zhao pulled hard, and the angel wings were forcibly pulled off Tan Tucker's back. Ah! Stop! Stop! I'm a lover of peace. Why don't you respect my choice? Chun Zhao put his hand on Tan Tucker's shoulder. I accept your suggestion. I choose to be in peace with you. Chun Zhao tightened his grip, and Tan Tucker's shoulder was crushed. I refuse. You've already refused me once, so we're enemies now. Ah, stop. Chun Zhao pulled with his right arm, and the demon wings were also torn off. I hate being rejected. Chun Zhao's palm pierced through Tan Tucker's chest and pulled out a rib bone. Nikki and the others stared at Chun Zhao, dumbfounded. This man was so scary. Was he torturing Tan Tucker now? Who was Don Tucker? He was an ancient demon from thousands of years ago. He was second only to Kan's Mosa. He was the commander of the demon army. But right now, he was being tortured by this man in such a cruel way. Let me go. I'm willing to submit to you, monster. You monster. Don Tucker kept screaming in pain. It only took him a short time to go from begging to cursing. Right now, Tan Tucker was covered in blood. His wings had already been torn off and tossed aside. A few rib bones that had been pulled out from his body were on the ground. But this wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. Chun Zhao was using an even crueler method to treat him. Skin him. That's right. After skinning Bostel, another commander of the demon army was going to be tortured like this. Everyone was shocked by Chun Zhao's cruelty. The bloody body was tossed on the ground. Tan Tucker wasn't dead yet. At the very least, from his screams, it was clear that he was still very energetic. However, when his body came into contact with the sand, the pain it brought stimulated his pain nerves. Chun Zhao held Tan Tucker's freshly skinned skin in his hand. I curse you. I curse you. Tan Tucker's curse took effect, but it disappeared in an instant. Chapter 12:27. On the ground, Don Tucker started convulsing. His body arched in pain. Suddenly, Don Tucker's body surged with terrifying power. It was formed by mixing demonic power and holy power. The power gathered into a human shape before Chun Zhao. This human-shaped energy body was very unstable. Its limbs were spread out, and the surrounding spiritual energy of the world was attracted by this energy body. As the spiritual chi of heaven and earth continued to fill the energy body, the human-shaped energy body became even more irritable. It seemed like it would explode at any moment. Run! Nikki yelled. The other knights turned and ran with Nikki. Facing the energy, Chun Zhao fell into deep thought. The complicated energy gave Chun Zhao another idea. Holy power and demonic power mixed together could produce such powerful energy. Then, what if he extracted the holy power from the angelic crystal, mixed it with his own demonic power, and then shot it out with the mouth of gluttony? Nikki and the others ran a few hundred meters away. Then, a terrifying shockwave came from behind. At the same time, a huge shockwave swept Nikki and the others away. Benris, are you okay? I'm fine. How about you? My arm's too short, Nikki said in pain. When she'd been sent flying by the shockwave, she'd hit a rock. But this kind of injury was acceptable. Looking back, the explosion had already stopped. The explosion had come and gone quickly. That guy's not dead, right? He was so close and didn't try to run at all. I'm afraid he could have run away, Nikki said. That guy was too arrogant. They'd had more than 10 seconds to react. Nikki and the others could run more than 100 meters away. There was no reason the guy couldn't. Should we go take a look? Let's go. When they arrived at the center of the explosion, there was a 10-meter wide crater. One could imagine how terrifying the shockwave had been. It was impossible for humans to survive the impact of such an explosion. There were no signs of life here, which proved their speculation. The guy was dead. He died because of his arrogance. However, the person they thought was dead had already left the scene. Chun Zhao went to the headquarters at night and pulled Jolig and Padalu out of their sleep. The two of them complained incessantly, but there was nothing they could do. The smell of blood still lingered on Chun Zhao's body. They didn't even dare to let out a fart. He could only follow Chun Zhao's request. For the entire night, Chun Zhao either stayed in the workshop with them or helped them with their work. It was not until early in the morning that the three of them came out of the workshop. Let's go and have some breakfast. The headquarters cafeteria started serving breakfast very early, and the ones in charge of breakfast were all evil spirits. They were very active at night, and they didn't stay in bed like humans. However, West, who came for breakfast, was surprised to see Chun Zhao. Chun Zhao was having breakfast at HQ. Did that mean that Chun Zhao came last night and didn't go home? That was quite rare. Usually, Chun Zhao would go home to rest no matter how late he was. Morning, President. West greeted him with a bowl of soy milk. Because of Chun Zhao's eating habits, even the evil spirits in charge of food had to follow his requests. They even knew how to cook some of the China's specialties. Morning, Guild Leader. Were you at the headquarters the entire night? Yes, I'm busy with some things. Guild Leader, are you worried about the invasion of the demon army that Rupert mentioned? Yes, but there's nothing to worry about, Chun Zhao said calmly. I've already thought of a solution. Guild Leader, are you confident? At the beginning, we didn't have a 50% chance, Chun Zhao said. But after last night, we have at least a 90% chance. Wes couldn't help but be delighted. He'd been troubled by this for the past few days. But hearing Chun Zhao's words, he was finally relieved. To be honest, Chun Zhao might not be afraid if they really had to fight to the death. When Chun Zhao was dealing with the mother, he'd obtained a large number of old artillery shells from the underground base. Those weapons were all from the 60s and 70s. If Chun Zhao really took them out, it would definitely be enough to destroy the demon army. But if they exploded at the same time, both the headquarters and the people would be affected. But now, Chun Zhao had thought of a safer method. A method that hurt the enemy without harming himself. West trusted Chun Zhao. Since Chun Zhao said he had a solution, the danger was most likely over. After dealing with the matters at the headquarters, Chun Zhao went home. He entered the river map as soon as he got home. His goal was to test his new idea, of course. He would mix the holy power of angelic crystals with demonic power and release it with the mouth of gluttony. Chun Zhao even gave it a very old-fashioned name, Demon Cannon. Hearing that Chun Zhao had a new move, Old Turtle was also interested. After all, Chun Zhao had just created spells Return to One. If it was a normal spell, Chun Zhao probably wouldn't be interested. Since it could make him go to the river diagram to try out new spells, it shouldn't be much weaker than 10,000 techniques Return to One. Chun Zhao first stuffed a perfect angelic crystal into the mouth of gluttony and chewed it. Most of the time, hybrid demons were weaker than pure-blooded demons. But they weren't absolutely weak. Angelic crystals could suppress pure-blooded demons, but they wouldn't hurt hybrid demons. This was also a characteristic of hybrid demons. They had human blood in their bodies. It was this human blood that prevented hybrid demons from being harmed by holy power. Theoretically, Chun Zhao and Gaia were both hybrid demons. But Gaia was a natural hybrid demon, while Chun Zhao was a half-baked demon. So, angelic crystals wouldn't harm Chun Zhao. But when Chun Zhao mixed the demonic power and holy power together, the terrifying power started spreading. It was also extremely unstable. Chun Zhao forcefully suppressed it, but in less than 3 seconds, he felt that something was wrong. The mouth of gluttony opened and a terrifying power burst out. A ditch appeared in the area 30 to 40 meters in front of him. No, it looked powerful, but the energy was too scattered. This kind of impact wouldn't be effective in a battle of the same level. He had to adjust the angle of the eruption and the size of the mouth of gluttony. Also, the energy was released too quickly. It wasn't compressed at all. This was also an important reason for the spread. The more the energy was compressed, the stronger the explosion. Chapter 1228. Chen Zhao kept trying. Old Turtle also gave him pointers from the side. After trying more than 10 times, Chen Zhao used up a lot of mana. After all, the Demon God Cannon required a lot of mana each time it was fired. But practice made perfect. He only needed to try it many times to form muscle memory. Chen Zhao finally grasped the correct way to open the Demon God Cannon. This was Chen Zhao's next killer move after 10,000 techniques return to one. For Chen Zhao, angelic crystals were obtained much faster than the consumption. Angelic crystals were obtained by killing evil spirits or demons in the human world. The more powerful the demon or evil spirit, the purer the angelic crystal. Last year, Chen Zhao had obtained as many angelic crystals as the number of battles he experienced. In the upcoming battle, Chen Zhao would obtain even more angelic crystals. Don Tucker is dead. Bustil is also dead. Sibylla's expression was serious. The image of that Chinese man popped up in her mind. Apart from that man, she couldn't think of anyone else with this ability. Even though there were no clues that Don Tucker and Bustil's deaths were related to Chen Zhao, Sibylla still firmly believed that the two commanders' deaths were directly related to Chen Zhao. Even so, Sibylla still firmly believed that the two commanders' deaths were directly related to Chen Zhao. That bitch Arrow isn't willing to help. There's only Eden now. Eden probably can't completely lead the demon army. Looks like I have to change the plan. Sibylla's eyes flickered. Just then, Maheji and Fei Sha walked in. There was a metal box floating beside Maheji. Teacher, it's your goods again. Yes, open the box, Sibylla said. Maheji and Fei Sha both knew that it was definitely a cyborg like X9. With a wave of her hand, the metal box's lid was opened. Just like X9, this cyborg also had a big X tattoo on his chest. Sibylla walked to the metal box and started casting a spell to wake the cyborg. Soon, the cyborg woke up. When it opened its eyes, it was very calm. It didn't attack them like when X9 woke up. What's your name? I'm X71. You know X9, right? He's a low-end product of the company. My performance is far better than his, X71 answered. How much better? X9 is only at the 5th stage of Agent X Awakening. I'm at the 7th stage. In terms of comprehensive performance, I'm 12 times better than him. Fei Sha, why don't you test his combat strength? X71 looked at Sibylla. How far do I need to go? You, or she will lose the ability to move. Suddenly, X71 launched an attack on Faith. Fei Sha was stunned. Wait, it hasn't started yet. Before Fei Sha could react, X71 was already in front of her, its palm slashing toward Fei Sha's shoulder. Fei Sha's collarbone was immediately shattered. Fei Sha screamed and fell to the ground. All right, stop it, X71. Sibylla frowned and said, Fei Sha, you're too useless. Mahage, come and practice with X71. Mahage raised her finger, and the metal box suddenly flew toward X71. X71 was sent flying, but he quickly opened the metal box and stood up again. X71 was about to attack again, but Mahage hooked her finger, and the metal box behind X71 flew up again and slammed into X71's back. The metal box twisted and bound X71, but X71 struggled to free himself from the iron sheet binding him. It wouldn't be long before he broke the iron sheet. But at this moment, Sibylla suddenly appeared behind Mahage and reached out to press the back of Mahage's head. Mahage's expression was calm, as usual, and she slashed a piece of metal at Sibylla. Sibylla's heart skipped a beat and immediately retreated to avoid the attack. Mahage, you're actually guarding against me? Mahage's expression was cold from beginning to end. I can't help it. You're my teacher, so I have to be careful. X71, catch her. X71 struggled to break free from the metal sheet and rushed toward Mahage. Suddenly, the house they were building was smashed open, and a car flew in. It crashed into X71. This was the car they often used, and it was parked in front of their house. Mahage had always been calm in battle. When did you start guarding against me? Mahage smiled coldly. and the house began to fall apart. Steel beams shot towards Sibylla from all directions, and Mahage took the opportunity to escape. Sibylla was her teacher, after all. With Mahage's strength, she couldn't fight her head-on. Moreover, there was still X-71, so Sibylla had no chance of winning. Sibylla didn't pursue because she had to protect Faisha. Sibylla helped Faisha up. "Are you okay?" Although Faisha didn't understand why Sibylla suddenly attacked Mahage, she was very happy. "Teacher, you should have killed Mahage a long time ago." "Yes." Sibylla nodded. "I should have done it a long time ago instead of waiting until now." Sibylla suddenly poked Faisha's forehead with her finger. In an instant, Faisha couldn't move, and her body fell straight to the ground. "Teacher, what are you doing?" "Let me go." "Don't worry, you'll be free soon." Sibylla had a faint smile on her face. "Teacher, please don't joke with me. I'm your student." Faisha suddenly felt fear. She didn't know what Sibylla was going to do, but she had a bad feeling about it. X-71, come here and lie down next to Faisha. X-71 laid down next to Faisha without any objections. Sibylla began to cast her magic. She began to undo the seal on Faisha's body. Faisha's body began to tremble violently, and black gas seeped out of her mouth, nose, and ears. The black gas converged into a ferocious face in the air. Sibylla guided the black gas into X-71's body. "Master, please stay in this body for the time being. The demon army needs your supreme authority to command." Faisha's life was also drained away as the seal was undone. This wasn't what she had planned. This was completely different from what Sibylla had told her. But there was nothing she could do. X-71 opened her eyes again and looked at Sibylla. Sibylla knelt in front of X-71. "Master." X-71 looked at her body and was also familiarizing herself with it. "Why do I need to undo the seal now? My soul isn't complete yet, and where's my own body?" "Master, Don Tucker is dead. Bustel is also dead, and Arrow has betrayed you. Only Eden is left, but Eden alone isn't enough to completely control the demon army and take your soul, so you need to personally lead the demon army." At this time, X-71 was no longer the original cyborg. He was Kantsmasa. Chapter 1229. Today, LA was covered in dark clouds. Dark clouds rolled in the sky. Chen Zhao looked at the sky. He didn't look too good either. It was obvious that something big was about to happen. Just then, Chen Zhao's phone rang. "Hey, Chen, something's wrong. Kong Mosa has revived," Rupert said in a panic. "What? How is that possible?" "He just killed Don Tucker last night." Chen Zhao had thought that he would have the upper hand in the battle. But in less than 12 hours, Rupert brought him terrible news. But Rupert had only stayed in the headquarters for a short time. How could Kong Mosa revive? "Kong Mosa didn't completely revive," Rupert said. "Only 1/3 of his soul. Also, he didn't revive himself. He's relying on someone else's body." "Oh, just 1/3 of his soul. What's there to worry about?" "Chun, the point is if Kong Mosa is resurrected, the demon army will gather. Thomas Bailey, who's locked in the dungeon now, is about to lose control." The evil voice is echoing in his head again, Chen Zhao said. Thomas Bailey had come to the headquarters to hide, but Chen Zhao didn't trust him completely, so he'd locked him in the dungeon. Had the difficulty increased again? It seemed that the battle would start before the 15th. Chen Zhao looked at the dark sky. This phenomenon had happened twice. First, when ES God came and reigned for many days. The other time was the projection of Abaddon, the demon king of plague and death. These powerful demons and mutants always seemed to be able to cause such phenomena. While Chen Zhao was talking to Rupert, a figure appeared at his door. "Mahage." Chen Zhao narrowed his eyes and looked at Mahage. Although they were enemies, Chen Zhao believed that she wasn't here to die. Chen Zhao walked to the door and looked at Mahage. "Did your teacher send you to declare war on me?" "No," Mahage said. "I escaped from Sibylla. Do you think I'll believe you?" Chen Zhao asked calmly. Mahage stared at Chen Zhao. This was her third time seeing him. The first time, she'd thought he was an ordinary person, but the second time, She was shocked by how terrifying he was. Chun Zhao had killed the demon spirit right in front of everyone. Also, from their second encounter, she could tell that Chun Zhao's temper wasn't very good. Therefore, she wasn't confident about appearing before him on her own. I'm here to inform you that Kang Mosa and his demon army will invade tomorrow. Again, why should I believe you? Kang Mosa is currently residing in a human's body. It is impossible for him to live in a human's body for long, and his body is not complete, so he can only reside in a human's body for 3 days at most. First, he needs to familiarize himself with the body and recover his strength. Tomorrow, he should be able to temporarily recover to his peak state, and then he will begin to weaken, so he will definitely choose to attack when he is at his strongest, and after tomorrow, his strength will begin to weaken, Mahage said. Chun Zhao stared at Mahage. He was still skeptical of her words. It was still the same question. How could Chun Zhao believe it? Do you think Kang Mosa can recover to his peak with a third of his soul, and not even his own body? That's right. Mahage nodded. How'd he do it? Because of his demon army, Mahage said. Demon army? Demon army? Mahage pointed at the rolling clouds in the sky. There is a certain connection between the demon armies, and when they gather in one place, they will influence each other and release powerful demon power. If it's only the demon power of 1 or 2 demons, it won't cause much of an effect, but the demon power of close to 1,000 demons is something he can't contend against. The reason why Kang Mosa created the demon army was because he wanted to use the demon army to transform into the great demon king. You didn't come to tell me, right? I want to take Kang Mosa's soul in my body for myself, Mahage said. Chun Zhao looked at Mahage meaningfully. This woman had the same goal as Rupert. I heard that your teacher has a way to separate the host's soul from Kang Mosa's. That's just a lie to Rupert, Mahage said. Mahage said, from the moment Kang Mosa was sealed in our bodies, it was impossible for us to separate. My teacher's original goal wasn't to seal him, but rather because Kang Mosa's soul had been sealed for 1,000 years and was already very weak. Even without the attacks of the other witches, he wouldn't be able to survive for long, so she sealed Kang Mosa's soul in our bodies. In fact, it was fused with our souls. It is said that this spell is an Eastern supplement, using us to repair Kang Mosa's soul. If it was at the beginning of the seal and our souls hadn't completely fused, then we could still be separated. But now, killing Kang Mosa's soul is killing us. So, either Kang Mosa assimilated you, or you assimilated Kang Mosa? That's right. Kang Mosa isn't a good person, but his knowledge isn't completely useless. There's also his demonic power. For me, this is an opportunity. Mahage paused. Mahage paused for a moment before continuing. Up until now, we and Kang Mosa have been unable to completely assimilate each other. This is because our bodies are ours and we have our own wills. Kang Mosa's soul is too powerful, even if it's only a third of his soul. The only weak one is Rupert. Originally, Sibylla hoped that Rupert would be the first to be completely assimilated by Kang Mosa, and then the two of us. However, Rupert was frozen by her teacher for 20 years, and even Kang Mosa's soul in her body fell into a deep slumber for 20 years. This caused Sibylla's plan to be delayed for 20 years. Then how are you going to assimilate Kang Mosa? You haven't been able to completely assimilate him in 20 years. Can you do it now or in the future? As long as you kill the part of Kang Mosa that has been resurrected, once his soul is incomplete, the other 2 parts will also weaken. Then, Rupert and I will have a chance. What's in it for me? I know where Kang Mosa's body is hidden by the demon army. I can use the hiding place of Kang Mosa's body in exchange. What do you think I'll use the body of a demon for? Chapter 1230. She left. Chun Zhao didn't stop her. She didn't provide much information, but she didn't provide much either. Chun Zhao looked at the sky. Suddenly, a thought appeared in his mind. Chun, isn't that woman a guest? No. Is she an enemy? I'm not sure. Is something going to happen? Fei Lai asked. Chun Zhao and Fei Lai didn't hide anything, so he told her about Rupert. Is that girl already in her 20s? Fei Lai's focus seemed a bit strange. I'll go to the headquarters with Jerlin so you don't have to worry about both sides. Chen Zhao was stunned. He hadn't thought about this before. Subconsciously, he thought that a war was about to start. No matter the outcome, the headquarters wouldn't be safe. But Fei Lai's words were indeed a solution. At least, he would be more at ease if Fei Lai and Zhilin were under his watch. Okay, Chen Zhao thought for a moment and agreed to Fei Lai's suggestion. The pets at home were also not to be underestimated. Of course, if Fei Lai and Zhilin were at the headquarters, he had to be more careful and treat the upcoming war more seriously. The underlings started helping Fei Lai and Zhilin pack their luggage. Chen Zhao also brought some underlings to the headquarters. After arriving at the headquarters, Chen Zhao brought Zhilin to meet Evans. Evans, come and meet your sister, little Zhilin. Hi, Brother Evans. Little Zhilin had a cheerful personality. Comparatively speaking, Evans, who was slightly older, was much more shy. Hi. Little Zhilin took the initiative to run to Evans and held his hand. Brother Evans, let's go play. Okay. Chen Zhao also hoped that Zhilin's cheerfulness could help Evans walk out of the darkness. After all, he and Gaia were both adults. They had their own worldviews, so they might not be able to help Evans. Little Zhilin might be a good breakthrough. Chen Zhao went to check on the preparations of every member. Just then, Chen Zhao's other phone rang. It was the handsome boy. Chen Zhao picked up and the boy asked, Chen Zhao, when are you coming to hell? I'm going to face a great enemy in the next 2 days. After dealing with this enemy, I'll go to hell. Oh, then you'd better hurry up. The Manatide is coming soon. If you miss it, the next Manatide will be 13 years later. What is the Manatide? This is a natural climate in hell. Every 13 years, there will be a magic wave that covers most of hell. During the magic wave, the elements here will be dozens of times denser than usual. Every 13 years, a large number of demons will have a significant increase in strength. This is also an opportunity for you. By the way, let me ask you something. My cultivation system is Taoism. Right now, I'm in the emptiness of heaven and earth. In our Taoism realm, we'll form a small world. Do you understand? Of course, a small portion of intermediate demons have a similar realm, but we call it the demon domain. The handsome boy said, but not all demons can enter because the bloodline of many demons determines their height. They might never reach the demon domain, so some demons will use special methods to enter the demon domain. The enemy I'm facing right now first created many demons, and then he could form a connection with them. This is the most common way to enter the demon domain. In terms of levels, the two of you should be in the same realm. However, the other party relied on external forces to reach this realm, while you relied on your own strength to enter. So, there's still a fundamental difference between the two of you. You should be able to kill the other party easily. The key problem is his demon army. Do you remember the destructive power you absorbed through that spell last time? You can release the destructive power, and the demon army can be easily killed by you, including your enemy. But I still have my family, friends, and subordinates by my side. Then there's another way. I've thought of one, the handsome boy said. The handsome young man said, receive the magic I'm giving you. This magic is a passive magic. It doesn't do any damage, but it can erode this unstable demonic domain. By the way, you have the bloodline of gluttony, right? Yes. Okay, I've already created a spell for you. Chen Zhao was speechless. He'd been cultivating for so long and had to think hard to think of a suitable spell for him. But the handsome boy only paused for a moment and had already thought of a suitable spell for him. When Chen Zhao opened the file the handsome boy had given him, golden, red, and black lines shot out of the screen and entered Chen Zhao's forehead. Instantly, a lot of information appeared in Chen Zhao's mind. Oh, the tower trials I made for you is also a weapon. At least, it's harder than most weapons in the human world. Chen Zhao's heart jumped. This meant that he could use the Tower of Trials as a weapon if he shrunk it to a certain size. After communicating with the handsome boy, Chen Zhao was even more confident. After hanging up, Chen Zhao continued inspecting the headquarters and the surrounding Fangyu. Just then, Pan In and Eric dragged a demon out of the forest. The demon was more than 3 meters tall and strong. It had a green face and sharp fangs. It kept struggling in Pan, In, and Eric's hands. "President, look what we caught." Chun Zhao was surprised. "Where did you catch it?" "In the forest." "Lowly humans. My master has already descended. You're not far from death." The demon roared. Chun Zhao had an idea. He could use it to try the spell the handsome boy had taught him. Chun Zhao tapped the demon's forehead with his finger. In an instant, the demon's soul was extracted. Then, the evil spirit's soul started disintegrating in Chun Zhao's small world. President, why don't you keep it for interrogation?" Pan In and Eric didn't expect Chun Zhao to kill the demon directly. Chun Zhao also didn't expect the spell to kill the demon so easily. But the demon was really weak. Chun Zhao's small world absorbed the demon, but didn't feel anything at all. Increase the vigilance. The demon army is coming, either today or tomorrow. Then we'll go patrol again, Pan In said. Be careful. If you can't beat them, run to the headquarters. Actually, the headquarters defenses were already very tight. Apart from Pan-Un and Eric, there were all kinds of equipment in the surrounding forest. Chapter 1231. A car was driving on the road in the woods under the night sky. There were several university students in the car. "Jill, where are we going?" The only woman in the car asked the student who was driving. "A few days ago, someone found a big footprint here and posted the picture on the internet. I think there might be a Bigfoot monster here." They were all students from California Institute of Technology, and they were also members of the Paranormal Society. To put it bluntly, it was a concentration camp for a group of Chinibi patients. They always fantasized about the third type of contact and the fourth type of contact. The third type of contact was known as extraterrestrial civilization, and the fourth type of contact was supernatural events. Apart from completing his studies, he would be running around everywhere. Wherever there was a strange event, he would participate in it. Could it be another prank? I analyzed the footprint with LA calculation. The pattern is clear and doesn't seem to be man-made. LA calculation was mostly used by the police to investigate cases. Through LA calculation, they could calculate the height, weight, and even physical condition of some footprints. Everyone knew that Jill was a computer expert. His most impressive record was that he once hacked into the president's office to find information about Area 51. But he failed. Of course, although he failed, he escaped unscathed. Although Jill wasn't the best hacker, this was enough to make him proud. "It's so dark tonight. There's no moonlight at all. There aren't even street lights on this road." Jill stopped the car and picked up the map. "That's strange. Logically speaking, this should be the end of the road. Ahead should be the woods. Why is there still a road?" "Let's go forward and see," Prague said. "What do you think?" "Let's go forward. We've already gone so far. We can't turn back now." Everyone had the same opinion. They all continued forward. But after the car stopped, it was difficult to start again. Jill's car was secondhand. It was already very old when he bought it. He bought it for only $1,000. Usually, members of the Paranormal Society relied on this car to travel around. They often had problems, but they didn't expect that there would be a problem here. The car couldn't start. "Let me go and take a look." Jill got out and opened the front cover to check. But after 20 minutes, he still found nothing. "Hey, you guys, can you come down and help? I can't do it alone." The 4 people in the car also got off. "Prague, do you want a cigarette?" Prague shook his head. "That's why I rejected your pursuit. I hate men who smoke." "All right." Sorman shrugged helplessly. Neither of them knew how to repair cars, so they stood by the side of the road and looked at the dark forest. Suddenly, Prague took 2 steps forward. "What's that?" Sorman scrutinized the dark forest. "It looks like a wild beast." "Maybe it's the Bigfoot monster we're looking for." Prague laughed. "The car is fixed. We can continue our journey," Jill said. Everyone returned to the car, and the car continued to move. But after a few steps, the car suddenly jerked. A black shadow slammed heavily into the car. The car immediately veered off the road and crashed into a tree by the roadside. "What's going on? How are you guys?" "I'm fine." "What happened just now?" "We were hit by something. Fortunately, they were driving very slowly. After all, it was an old car and had just started, so it couldn't go fast. But just then, there was a sudden thud on the roof, as if something had landed on it. The roof was dented, and a few sharp claws pierced through the dent. The claws were slowly tearing open the roof. Everyone in the car was shocked. Soon, the roof was cut open by the thing above, and the roof was completely lifted. Everyone finally saw what it was. It was a 3-meter-tall monster. The monster's head looked like a Shar-Pei, and its mouth emitted a foul stench. Its eyes were red, and there was a tail behind it. What scared them even more was that there was a human face on the monster's tail. The monster's tail reached into the car. The face on the tail looked at the martial artists and revealed a strange smile. The 5 people in the car were so scared that they almost peed their pants. 5 humans, not bad. The face on the monster's tail made a horrifying sound. Suddenly, Jill took out a gun from somewhere and fired at the face on the monster's tail. Bang! The face was smashed, but it quickly recovered. But the monster was furious. It grabbed Jill, dragged her out of the car, and bit her neck. Blood splattered on the people in the car. Everyone was scared out of their wits and immediately ran out of the car. But they only ran a few steps when they saw a few more monsters appear in 2 directions. Each of these monsters had a different form, but each one of them was terrifying. This was the 4th type of contact that they had been dreaming of. Supernatural creatures. They were right in front of them, but at this moment, they didn't feel any joy or excitement. It was only fear, because they weren't as good as they had imagined. They ate people. Just then, a rustling sound came from the darkness. The monsters also heard this sound and looked in the direction of the sound. The monster on the roof dropped Jill's body and looked warily into the darkness. Suddenly, a 10-meter-long purple python rushed out of the darkness and bit the monster on the roof. The other monsters wanted to escape, but a green lion rushed out from another direction and slapped one of the monsters to the ground. It was Payne and Eric. They were in charge of night patrols around the headquarters. Then they received an order from West, saying that a few children were attacked by demons lurking nearby. The purple python was transformed from Pan In, while Eric transformed into a green lion. The 4 people who didn't know what was going on were so scared that they curled up on the ground. They watched the 2 terrifying beasts fight the monsters. However, it was obvious that both the purple python and the green lion were stronger than these monsters. But they weren't normal creatures either. At least, there were no wild African lions in the American continent, and they were green. Payne swung his tail, and a demon was sent flying. In just 2 or 3 moves, these monsters were almost wiped out. Seeing that the situation wasn't good, another demon turned to escape. Chapter 1232. Everyone looked and realized that it was a tall woman. Gaia had just gotten off work and was on her way to the headquarters when she saw the battle. She saw Payne and Eric fighting, so she came over to help. Prague and the others all looked at Gaia in shock. The woman was tall, but compared to the monster, she was half the size. However, she was strangling the monster's neck. No matter how much the monster struggled, it was useless. Just then, Payne and Eric's battle had ended. They each killed a demon and captured one alive. When Payne and Eric turned into humans, Prague and the others were all dumbfounded. Their faces were full of shock. They were humans? What was going on? Was it magic? Who are those people? Gaia pointed at Prague and the others. I don't know. Bring them back for interrogation, Gaia said. After all, it was before the war. Who knew if they had other intentions? These kids didn't look like it, but who knew if they were just trying to hurt themselves? Prague and the others were brought to the headquarters. When they entered, they saw 2 kids riding on giant black and white wolves. They were playing on the lawn in front. Auntie Gaia. Jerlin was the first to see Gaia. She immediately asked Blackma to rush over. Evans also ran up. When Gaia saw the 2 little guys, she immediately smiled. Jerlin, why are you here? Dad said that Brother Evans has no one to play with, so he asked me to play with him. Gaia's face showed a rare gentleness. She saw that Evans's face also showed a long-lost cheerfulness, which made Gaia even happier. Prague and the others looked at the building before them carefully, feeling uncertain. Why are you standing? Go in. Payne pushed a boy. The 4 students were brought into the front hall. Mr. West, when we arrived, one was dead. We only brought back 4 and caught 3 demons. West looked at Prague and the others. Tell us your names and identities. Sir, we're students from Caltech. I'm Prague. I'm Philip. Zoe's. Griffin. Why are you here? West looked at the 4 young people. I don't want to hurt you. West said, but if our president doesn't get a satisfactory answer, he will intervene. You definitely don't want to see our president. We're really students from Caltech. We're from the Paranormal Society. We're here to find Bigfoot. What proof do you have? Everyone looked at each other. What proof could they have? They had never thought that such a thing would happen. No, they hadn't even considered the possibility that they would encounter the 4th type of contact. We've already told you our identities. What else do you want to know? Although the 4 young people were very anxious and their emotions were a little out of control, but West was still unhurried. He asked the same questions over and over again. At this time, it was already late. It was quiet outside the headquarters. Let's stop here. West stood up and said, I'll take you to your accommodations. When can we leave? Not tonight, not tomorrow. Before I confirm your identities, none of you can leave this place. We're just students, but you intruded into our territory. We intruded by accident. We didn't know. Everyone has to be responsible for their own actions. You're all adults. The 4 of them spent the night anxiously. The next morning, they came out of their rooms. No one cared about them. They didn't know that they had actually been accompanied by 4 evil spirits last night. The environment here was very beautiful. There was a huge lake and a sea of trees beside it. If it weren't for the special situation they were in, they would probably be relaxing right now and having a good rest here. Just then, they saw West walking over. Did you miss breakfast? No. What did you eat? The cafeteria. West brought them to the cafeteria. When they saw the evil spirits floating in the cafeteria, the 4 of them almost peed their pants. You saw the demon last night. Are you still afraid of evil spirits? West glanced at the 4 of them. Sir, when can we leave? If everything goes well, tomorrow. What if it doesn't? Prague looked at West anxiously. Forever. Do you see those bastards? They're the ones who will be locked here forever. Prague's expression stiffened. What did they do wrong? Nothing, West said. They just offended our president. This was the 2nd time Prague and the others had heard West mention their president. Cough, cough. West heard coughing behind him. He turned around and saw Chun Zhao and Fei Lai enter the cafeteria. President. Everyone looked at Chun Zhao, sizing him up. They wanted to see what was up with this scary president that West had mentioned. Young man, don't listen to this old *Shoals nonsense. He's been ruining my reputation everywhere. I've always insisted on using love to manage the association, Chun Zhao said seriously. They all deserve to die, but the law can't punish them. That's why I locked them here, to prevent them from causing trouble when they get out. If you don't believe me, ask them. Henry, come here. Tell me, am I right? Henry had his head buried in his breakfast. Hearing Chun Zhao's words, he forced a smile. Yes, we're all souls. The president gave us a new life and a chance to turn over a new leaf. If Henry's answer was the opposite of Chun Zhao's, he would probably have a close encounter with a meat grinder tonight. Oh, I heard that you're a student from Caltech, right? Yes, I'm a professor at UCLA. You can call me Chun. University professor? No one expected Chun Zhao to be a university professor. You can visit my school when you have time. UCLA's academic ranking is much lower than Caltech, Griffin said. There's nothing to visit. Everyone's expression froze. Griffin was a firm supporter of his school. He'd always been hostile and belittling other schools. West, I suspect that he's a spy sent by the demon army. I think we need to torture and interrogate him. I hope to get the detailed plan of the demon army from him before sunset. No one expected Chun Zhao, who had been so approachable a moment ago, to become a completely different person in the next moment. Chapter 1233. Even Griffin himself was dumbfounded. He'd offended the president with just one sentence? I'm not going to stay here forever, right? After breakfast, the 4 wandered around the HQ. It didn't look like a mysterious or evil place. They saw several children walking around and playing. Of course, there were also many animals here. Many of them were strangely big, too. The wind was especially strong today, and the sky was getting darker. Dark clouds seemed to have gathered above the HQ. The low-pressure air was suffocating. Prague saw that Pain had returned with another demon. Subconsciously, she didn't think that this was an evil organization. Prague found West again. "Mr. West, when can we leave?" "Didn't I tell you?" West said, "You have to get the president's permission to leave tomorrow or never. But your president is sleeping by the lake right now. Is he always so free? What do you think he's going to do? But if he doesn't let us leave, he'll at least interrogate us, right? Do you know how he usually interrogates people?" "Ow! Do you see the meat grinder beside the HQ?" "Yes. Our guild leader usually puts people in there for interrogation." Prague's face paled instantly. Just then, the HQ's alarm rang. Immediately after, Prague saw many members that he had seen before, and some that he had never seen before running out from all directions. What happened? Prague was alarmed. Little Gerlin rode White Ma and ran to West. "Uncle West, is there a bad guy? Gerlin wants to beat the bad guys with you." West was speechless as he watched Chun Zhao walk over from the lake. "Gerlin, you're still too young. When you grow up, you can beat the bad guys with us." "Gerlin isn't young anymore. She's already grown up. White Ma will help me beat the bad guys." Just then, Chun Zhao walked over and picked up Gerlin from White Ma. "Good girl, stay with Daddy." "President, how's the situation?" "The detectors around the area have detected that a large number of demons have touched the sensors. A large number of demons have also appeared on the surveillance screen," West said. "Oh, you guys go ahead," Chun Zhao said, yawning. "I'll take a nap. Last night, Gerlin woke up in the middle of the night, and I couldn't sleep well." Everyone else didn't mind. They hoped that they could handle such a situation by themselves. If Chun Zhao attacked, they would really have nothing to do with it. Prague, on the other hand, was speechless. This guild leader was too irresponsible. "Old man, what are you doing? Put the gun down. It's none of your business here. Just watch the door for me." Chun Zhao looked at Aduz, speechless. "Guild leader, I have experience as well." Okay. Stop causing trouble." Chun Zhao waved his hand and had Jala take the modified gun from Aduz's hands. This old man was restless. With his body, he didn't want to break here. "Dad, let me go," Gerlin said expectantly. "I can protect Grandpa Aduz." "Gerlin, don't cause trouble." Phalai came out and stared at Gerlin sternly. On the other hand, Gerlin's face was filled with grievance and indignation. She looked at Chun Zhao pitifully, hoping that he would speak up for her. Unfortunately, Chun Zhao wished that Phalai would come out and restrain Gerlin. Just then, the dark clouds in the sky slowly spun like a vortex. All sorts of flashing demon eyes appeared in the forest around the headquarters. There was no need for surveillance and sensors now. Everyone could already see the demons approaching. Chun Zhao and Phalai carried Gerlin into the front hall. Prague was speechless. This guild leader was too irresponsible. By then, the battle outside had already started. Cows held a remote control. Immediately, there were loud explosions in the forest. Hundreds of remote control bombs were detonated. This was a battle of offense and defense. As the defending side, the supernatural organization naturally had to use the terrain to their advantage. The supernatural organization wasn't small, but it only had a headquarters that was less than 6 acres. Thus, remote control mines were great defensive weapons. Gage had the hammer in her hand. She was more nervous than the others. For one, she was weak. For another, she didn't have much battle experience. Gage looked at Donya Tianchi. "Japanese, aren't you nervous?" "I'm a samurai. Samurai are fearless." Donya Tianchi just didn't look nervous. What a joke. What era was it now? There were no proper samurai. Amidst the explosion, 5 huge demons rushed out and attacked the headquarters. The 5 demons were all more than 5 meters long. They looked different, but they were all burning with flames. They were demons that liked to play with fire. The high temperature of the explosion didn't pose much threat to them. Plus, they were huge, so the shockwave from the explosion didn't have much effect on them. Giselle was surrounded by a dozen metal balls. Under her control, one of the metal balls shot toward a pig-headed demon first. The metal ball landed on the pig-headed demon's body. Immediately, it extended a hook and latched onto the demon's body. The next moment, the metal ball exploded. The liquid nitrogen inside also spread out, freezing the demon into a popsicle. Another metal ball shot out at high speed and pierced through the frozen demon. The demon's body disintegrated instantly, turning into pieces of frozen meat. Jalig and Padaloo immediately threw a new metal ball to Giselle. "Amazing," Gage exclaimed. "If it were her, she probably wouldn't be able to finish off one in 10 minutes. Wes pointed between his eyebrows. "Slow field." Instantly, the remaining 4 demons stopped moving. The members of the Lightning Squad held their guns and fired wildly at the 4 demons who had stopped in their tracks. The demons had thick skin and flesh, but they couldn't withstand the Lightning team's storm-like attacks. In less than a minute, the demons were riddled with holes. Meanwhile, in the headquarters, Fei Lai looked at Chun Zhao speechlessly, because Chun Zhao was really asleep. Jerlin and Evans were leaning against the window, watching the intense battle outside. "Amazing, amazing. Sister Giselle is amazing. Uncle Klaus and the others are amazing too." Chapter 1234. The battle unfolded like a wildfire. For a moment, the demons couldn't enter the headquarters. The headquarters of the supernatural organization didn't have walls or walls. However, the members of the supernatural organization were all very powerful. Gaia, Norma, and Helis were the top fighters in the organization. The 3 of them hadn't made a move yet. The members of the organization could still hold on. It wasn't time for them to attack yet. Suddenly, Qin Zhao opened his eyes, stood up, and looked outside. It was just noon, but all of Los Angeles was shrouded in dark clouds. It was like the end of the world. The headquarters of the association was as dark as 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. Just then, a figure that wasn't too tall blended in among the ordinary demons and attacked the headquarters. No one noticed the figure yet. The figure went straight for Gage. Gage was swinging his hammer in a hand-to-hand fight with a demon. Suddenly, she felt a wave of chilliness attack her. Gage subconsciously swung the hammer in a circle. A black figure was hit by the hammer behind him. But when the hammer hit the black figure, it didn't defeat the figure. Instead, the hammer bounced back. Getchula felt as if his hammer was hitting a giant piece of rubber. He almost lost control of the hammer and staggered back a few steps. The black figure attacked Gage. It held a dagger with both hands and was about to slit Gage's throat. Suddenly, a hand appeared behind Gage and pulled him back, avoiding the fate of having his throat slit. Gage looked back. It was Helis' corpse demon. Gage looked at Helis and realized that she'd joined the battle too. The black figure wanted to continue attacking Gage, but the corpse demon blocked the attack. With a swing of its giant fist, the black figure was sent flying. But then, another dozen black figures entered the battle at the same time. "Helis, those black figures shouldn't be ordinary demons," Gaia reminded. "They should be high-level demons in the demon army." "Yes, I know." Helis nodded. "Mr. West, please cooperate with me." West immediately understood Helis' intention and cast the field of slowness. Wester was no longer the person in the past, a piece of trash who could cripple himself with a slow domain. His strength had soared, and his magic power had also improved greatly, especially since he knew how to quickly recover his magic power. More than 10 black shadows were engulfed by West's slow field. The 12 undead brothers and sisters of Helis attacked at the same time. Countless spells poured out. It covered an area of more than 20 meters. Suddenly, something in the sky approached the headquarters from a distance in the forest. The one in the lead was huge, and there were smaller ones behind him. Everyone finally saw that those things were a group of bird monsters. The largest bird monster had a wingspan of about 15 meters, while the other bird monsters were about 7 or 8 meters in size. Gaia finally picked up the greatsword. When she grasped the hilt, the greatsword burst into flames. Gaia's figure moved, leaping into the air. In an instant, the flaming sword slashed towards the largest bird monster. Hiss! The leader of the bird monsters was beheaded. Gaia used the falling corpse of the bird monster to jump more than 10 meters in the air and slashed again. Gaia was already very familiar with this kind of fighting style. Gazing at Gaia in the air, Jinkira's eyes were filled with admiration. When could he reach Gaia's level? However, the surrounding demons didn't give her too much time to be distracted. Jinkira could only take a look at the sky. Actually, Helis and Norma weren't weaker than Gaia. However, Gaia's style was the most similar to Jinkira's, which was why Jinkira respected her the most. Prague, Griffin, Felix, and Zovis were all shocked by the battle. They felt like they'd entered a mythical battlefield. Feilai looked at Chun Zhao. When Chun Zhao woke up, she thought he was going to attack. In the end, Chun Zhao just stood at the door and didn't do anything. At 2 or 3 in the afternoon, the battle suddenly stopped. The demons didn't attack anymore. Everyone was very tired now. Moreover, they all had some injuries on their bodies. Looking at his subordinates, Chun Zhao was exhausted. West was right. The association did need a doctor, he thought. Right now, he could only rely on a list to heal everyone with her inexperienced healing spells. The evil spirits and slaves arranged food so that everyone could recover as much as possible. Everyone knew that the previous battle was just an appetizer. It was just a probing attack from the demon army. The demon army wanted to wear out the weaker demons and the combat power of the association members at the same time. Their goal had clearly been achieved. The association didn't lose anyone, but their combat power was obviously much lower. The truly powerful devils would wait until the sun went down before launching their attacks. President, the demons will definitely attack more fiercely at night. Then, Chun Zhao waved his hand. I know. Chun Zhao had been sleeping, but he sensed Kong Mosa's aura. He'd just approached the headquarters, so he woke up. But Kong Mosa didn't attack, so Chun Zhao didn't attack. Dad, when are we going to beat the bad guys? Jerlin looked at Chun Zhao expectantly. Chun Zhao rubbed Jerlin's hair. He hadn't taught her anything, but she was so violent. This wasn't good. How was she going to get married in the future? No, if she got married in the future, his heart would ache. It was better to let her be more violent. Jerlin slapped Chun Zhao's hand away angrily and stared at him with her little nose up. Chun Zhao walked out of the headquarters and stood in an empty space filled with demon corpses. Chun Zhao's lips curled into a smile. Just then, Jinkira walked over. President, should we make a strategic retreat? The main force of the demons has yet to take action, but our combat strength has already decreased by more than half. At night, the strength of the demon army will become stronger, but we will become weaker. The current situation is really not suitable to continue fighting. Chun Zhao glanced at Jinkira. What do you think we should retreat to? Or how should we retreat? Do you think the demon army that surrounded us will let us go? But staying here is just waiting for death. I think we should find a weak point and break out. Chapter 1235. Mr. West, I think we should retreat now. Seeing that Chun Zhao couldn't get through, Gage ran to find West. Retreat? Why? Don't you think we have no chance of winning? I don't think so, West said coolly. Before the president gives the order, neither I nor anyone else will retreat. You can leave, but after you leave, you won't be a member anymore. The Union didn't say that leaving meant fighting to the death. No one had the time. Gage's face was filled with helplessness. All of them seemed to be very obedient to Chun Zhao's orders. As long as Chun Zhao didn't speak, no one would support her. She really didn't understand how that man had such prestige. From the first day she joined the Union, Chun Zhao had been a bit off. Moreover, he'd been in the Union the shortest. Usually, he wouldn't come to the Union at all. Even during the big events of the society, Chun Zhao always hid in the back. For example, when Pamela turned into a banshee, Chun Zhao had been a spectator. He hadn't done anything at all. She really didn't understand how Chun Zhao could manage and command the members. Gage was a bit disappointed. She didn't want to die like this. But she didn't want to be a deserter either. She had the bloodline of a berserker, even though she'd been one for the past 20 years. She'd always lived as a normal person. She'd come into contact with people from the spiritual world, but not much. She had even less battle experience. She had the bloodline of a berserker and the pride of a berserker. The most shameful thing for a warrior wasn't to die in battle, but to run away. When everyone else was facing the enemy, she chose to abandon her comrades. Not only did she abandon her comrades, but she also abandoned her bloodline. A proud berserker wouldn't allow such a thing. Just then, the sky started to darken. If there was still a sliver of light during the day, when dark clouds covered the sky, it was truly dark now. There wasn't a sliver of light outside the headquarters. Just then, Chun Zhao walked out of the headquarters. When the others saw Chun Zhao, they all stood up. When Helis looked at Chun Zhao, her eyes were filled with respect. President! President! When Chun Zhao walked past everyone, they would greet him. Chun Zhao walked to the door of the headquarters and looked at the dark forest before him. Chun Zhao could sense that there were countless demons hiding in the darkness. It's about time. Master, time's up. Sibylla stood respectfully next to Kong Mosa. Kong Mosa stood where he was and did not move all day. He only opened his eyes when he launched the attack and when he gave the order to stop the attack. Sibylla waited for Kong Mosa's reply. But after waiting for 5 minutes, there was no response. 10 minutes later, there was still no response. After waiting for 20 minutes, Kong Mosa finally opened his eyes. "All out attack you, and all of you attack," Kong Mosa said. Besides Sibylla, there were 3 other demons around Kong Mosa. Sibylla had accepted Kong Mosa's reward. She had now replaced Doan Tucker as the great commander of the demon army. At the same time, he found another powerful demon in the demon army to replace Bastille. The other 2 were the veteran commanders, Eden and Arrow. Arrow was the most unwilling of the 4 great commanders. If Kong Mosa had not been revived, she would not have obeyed the order to get involved in this mess. Kong Mosa also walked toward the headquarters. After receiving Kong Mosa's order, the other demons swept toward the headquarters like a wave. Everyone stared at Chun Zhao's back. Jinkira also stared at him. She did not understand what he was doing. Why was he standing there? Was he looking to die? If the demon army launched an all-out attack now, he would not even know how he died. Suddenly, there was a series of barks in the darkness. Then a group of demon dogs charged out of the darkness. These weren't demons. They were different from hellhounds. Hellhounds were man-made demons, while demon dogs were man-made undead. They were creatures summoned by necromancers. These demon dogs were extremely large and ferocious like tigers. They pounced at Chun Zhao. At the same time, a black shadow appeared beside Chun Zhao. Bastille had appeared. Jinkira's eyes widened. So big. Bastille was much bigger than these demon dogs. Was this his trump card? Gatella thought to himself. Bastille was indeed very strong. With a swipe of his claws, he killed all the demon dogs in a few moves. Just then, Sibylla's voice came from the darkness. "How sad, Bastille. You become someone else's puppet." Bastille had no consciousness. He only stared emotionlessly at the demon army that had appeared in the darkness and the 4 great commanders led by Sibylla. Sibylla could sense the dead members of the demon army. She could also sense that Bastille was dead. Now that he had reappeared in a different form, she could easily guess that Bastille had become someone else's puppet. The new commander, Beast King Rainster, roared at Bastille. Bastille roared at Rainster as well. Rainster was no smaller than Bastille, and his voice was not soft either. Rainster charged forward first, pouncing at Bastille. The 2 demons fought. It was hard to tell who would win in a short time. Rainster had originally been Bastille's subordinate. He was indeed weaker than Bastille. But ever since Kong Mosa had been revived, he'd received Kong Mosa's rewards. His power had increased greatly. Jinkira watched anxiously from the back. Chun Zhao's trump card was being held back by the other demons. Chun Zhao should be in danger. But Gaia and the others didn't seem to want to help at all. Had they disliked Chun Zhao and wanted to use this chance to get rid of him? Jinkira's thoughts kept running wild. "Sibylla, is this the guy who obstructed your plan many times?" Eden asked. "He's very strong," Sibylla said. She'd also received Kong Mosa's power. Her power was much greater than before. But now that she faced Chun Zhao again, she still didn't have any confidence. "Then let me see just how powerful he is." Eden's figure suddenly blurred, splitting into hundreds of doppelgangers. Everyone in the headquarters was shocked by Eden's cloning technique. There were too many of them. Was this guy Kalmosa? Chapter 1236. But the next moment, Chun Zhao suddenly reached out and grabbed an Eden. Caught by Chun Zhao, Eden struggled with all his might. At the same time, the clones around him started attacking Chun Zhao crazily. However, these attacks were all fake. They were all illusions and didn't cause any actual damage. Everyone came to a sudden realization when they saw this result. It wasn't a real cloning technique, but an illusion. Like the doppelganger technique, Mo Air was able to continuously create doppelgangers. Or someone like Chun Zhao, who could create 12 clones at once. This was called the cloning technique. But illusions didn't have any attack power. How do you know I'm the real one? Eden roared as he struggled. Because you have bad breath, Chun Zhao said. Eden wasn't tall. Chun Zhao lifted him up with one arm, and his legs couldn't reach the ground. Everyone heard a crisp sound. Eden's neck was broken. Sibylla and Arrow's expressions didn't look good. Eden wasn't good at direct attacks, but he was still one of the 4 commanders. But now, Chun Zhao would kill him so easily. They couldn't accept this result. Chun Zhao crooked his finger. His posture was full of provocation. Arrow, you go first, Sibylla said in a commanding tone. Why? I'm giving orders on behalf of my master. Do you have any objections? Arrow stared at Chun Zhao with a pale face. But just then, Chun Zhao lifted his arm. The next moment, a beam of light shot out from Chun Zhao's palm. The beam of light was so fast that Arrow didn't even have time to react. The beam of light directly penetrated her body, and it continued to spread to the back. Demon cannon. Wherever it passed, all the demons were instantly annihilated. Sibylla's limbs were cold. This man was even scarier than before. Arrow didn't even have a chance to attack. She was also killed instantly. Gatella also opened her mouth wide. Disbelief was written all over her face. So powerful. This was the first time she'd seen Chun Zhao attack. Just then, Kong Mosa's voice sounded from behind Sibylla. Go find the second host. Leave him to me. Yes, master. Sibylla's figure flashed and disappeared. Kong Mosa slowly walked out of the forest and revealed his real body. He had a pair of horns on his head, and his chest was exposed. His skin was black, and he held a steel fork in his hand. His feet were like sheep's hooves. Human, you shouldn't have blocked my path. Who do you think you are? Kong Mosa was not tall, but the aura he exuded made everyone feel as if they had fallen into a nightmare. It was too terrifying. Could humans really become enemies with such a monster? Even Blackies, who worshipped Chun Zhao a lot, had some doubts. This demon was much stronger than his mother. Kong Mosa threw his trident at Chun Zhao with terrifying power. It was as if hundreds of demons were attacking Chun Zhao at the same time. Bang! The moment Chun Zhao touched the pitchfork, he released all his power. A terrifying shockwave spread out from Chun Zhao. All the association members standing at the back were sent flying. Everyone looked at Chun Zhao in disbelief. They hadn't expected Kong Mosa to be so powerful. Even though they were dozens of meters away, they could still feel the terrifying shockwave. How could Chun Zhao, who was the first to bear the brunt, escape? The smoke gradually dissipated. Chun Zhao stood where he was without a single injury. Everyone was shocked again. They hadn't expected Chun Zhao to receive the attack and scathe from such a terrifying shockwave. Chun Zhao grabbed the pitchfork, but it started trembling as if it wanted to break free from Chun Zhao's grasp. Bastard, you don't want to be controlled by me? In that case, don't even think about getting it. Chun Zhao immediately controlled the mouth of gluttony and bit down on the pitchfork. The pitchfork was clearly not an ordinary weapon. The mouth of gluttony actually couldn't bite it into pieces immediately. The pitchfork seemed to have its own consciousness. Kong Mosa wouldn't give Chun Zhao time to destroy his weapon either. 2 destructive beams shot out from Kong Mosa's demon horns. Chun Zhao moved and dodged Kong Mosa's attack. Kong Mosa took the chance to walk forward and snatch the pitchfork from Chun Zhao's hand. Everyone watched the battle between Chun Zhao and Kong Mosa. They couldn't interfere at all. It wasn't just them. Even Kong Mosa's demon army couldn't get close to the center of the battlefield. Chen Zhao and Kong Mosa were both too powerful. Everyone else was fundamentally different from them. Although the battle between the two of them was not earth-shattering, if they were to continue fighting, the headquarters might really be destroyed by them. This belief was written all over Gage's face. Was this Chen Zhao's true strength? The more Kong Mosa fought, the more shocked he became, because Chen Zhao really scared him. This human hadn't used his full strength yet. He couldn't continue like this. He had to end the battle as soon as possible. Kong Mosa was one of them and knew his own strength. Chen Zhao's various performances had already shown that Chen Zhao was on the same level as him. Kong Mosa's demon territory wasn't obtained through proper means. It was an opportunistic method. To put it bluntly, it was using external forces to temporarily obtain this kind of power. But Chen Zhao had truly reached this level. If they continued fighting, he would enter a weakened period prematurely. If he couldn't defeat Chen Zhao now, when he entered a weakened period, his chances of winning would be even lower. Attack! Attack! Kong Mosa ordered his demon army to attack. A smile appeared on Chen Zhao's face. Suddenly, he pushed Kong Mosa away. Kong Mosa suddenly had a bad feeling. Return to 1. Chen Zhao's aura suddenly exploded. At the same time, he took out a remote control. This remote control was Chen Zhao's true trump card. Jalik saw the remote control in Chen Zhao's hand and recognized it as the one he and Chen Zhao had made after working for an entire night. Of course, Chen Zhao didn't want him to make the remote control, but the things it controlled. In fact, they were just jars, and they were all aluminum jars. The remote control could open the aluminum jars directly. Jalik didn't know what the aluminum jars were for. The moment Chen Zhao pressed the remote control, a holy aura emanated from the forest. Chen Zhao had buried thousands of angelic crystals in the forest. If it was just 1 or 2 angelic crystals, it might not affect the demon army. But the holy power produced by thousands of angelic crystals would cause fatal damage to the demon army. Chapter 12:37. Retreat. Retreat. Kong Mosa didn't know what Chen Zhao had done, but he could feel the holy power pervading the area within several kilometers of the supernatural organization. This holy power didn't just affect the demon army. Even Agar's, one of the 72 demon gods, was affected. Even Chen Zhao's pure-blooded demon subordinates were affected. Kong Mosa was terrified. He hadn't expected Chen Zhao to have such a weapon. But why didn't Chen Zhao use it earlier? Why did he only use it now? This was something he didn't understand. Actually, thousands of angelic crystals seemed like a lot. But when they were scattered around the headquarters, they realized that there weren't that many. So, Chen Zhao could only use the angelic crystals to draw a line around the headquarters. Of course, this line wasn't just a line of defense. It was also a line of obstruction. Chen Zhao's ultimate goal was to destroy the demon army, not to play with them. Let them think that the supernatural organization could come and go as they pleased. They could come and go as they pleased. So, Chen Zhao had to wait until the entire demon army stepped into the line before opening the aluminum cans. Suddenly, Chen Zhao pounced at Kong Mosa. Kong Mosa was already somewhat suppressed at the moment. But Chen Zhao didn't weaken. Instead, he became stronger. He was so strong that Kong Mosa couldn't block it. He couldn't even block it once. This was the true power of a demon. Chen Zhao pressed Kong Mosa to the ground and dragged him a dozen meters. Kong Mosa tried to resist, but Chen Zhao was too strong. He couldn't move Chen Zhao at all. Do you know how big the difference between us is? Theoretically, Kong Mosa and Chen Zhao were on the same level. But there was still a gap between them that Kong Mosa couldn't close no matter how hard he tried. That was a spell or magic that belonged solely to him. Chen Zhao had returned to 1. He'd created it himself. Because Chen Zhao had entered a state of emptiness, he could comprehend it himself and create his own spell. But Kong Mosa didn't. He didn't have his own magic. The principle of 10,000 techniques returned to 1 could be said to be simple, but could also be said to be difficult. But no one else could copy it. Kong Mosa also had a demon, but he didn't have his own comprehension. Everyone in the association had looks of disbelief on their faces. They had thought that there would be an even more intense battle between Chun Zhao and Kong Mosa. However, the situation seemed to have changed in an instant. Just a moment ago, they were evenly matched. The next moment, Chun Zhao crushed Kong Mosa with absolute power. Chun Zhao broke Kong Mosa's limbs and lifted him up. Chun Zhao wanted to devour Kong Mosa's demon territory. Red, gold, and black magic arrays appeared around Chun Zhao. At the same time, they enveloped Kong Mosa. What are you going to do? Kong Mosa was horrified to find that his strength was constantly dropping. No, it wasn't his original power. It was his demonic domain that was disappearing. You're a guest. It's not good if you don't leave something as a gift, right? Chun Zhao smiled faintly. Let me go, you devil. Let me go. Everyone was speechless. They wondered what it would feel like to be called a demon by a demon. However, Chun Zhao's previous actions could indeed be called a demon. Just then, Rupert suddenly let out a cry of surprise. Everyone turned around and saw Sibylla appear behind Rupert. At the same time, she pressed her hand against Rupert's neck. Let go of my master. Sibylla had wanted to attack when she was more confident, but she didn't expect Chun Zhao to be so terrifying. He'd actually suppressed Kong Mosa to this extent. If she didn't attack now, Kong Mosa might very well lose his life. Sibylla, good job. Kong Mosa's spirit was lifted, and he shouted happily, Let me go at once, or that little girl will die. Holding Kong Mosa, a smile appeared on Chun Zhao's face. You don't really think this plan will work, do you? Sibylla cursed under her breath. If she were in Rupert's shoes, she would definitely be on her guard against her, too. Rupert turned her head with a smile. Indeed, before the battle, Chun Zhao had made preparations for her. If Chun Zhao lost, she would be the last chance to turn the tables. Rupert still had a perfect angelic crystal on her. Before, it had been wrapped in tin foil. After Sibylla ambushed her, she secretly opened the tin foil. Instantly, a holy aura exploded from Rupert's body. Sibylla had just been transformed by Kong Mosa. Now, she was a pure demon like the other members of the demon army. When she came into contact with a holy aura, it was like the ice in the North Pole being baked by the sun in the Sahara Desert. Sibylla didn't even have the ability to use a teleportation spell to escape. If it was Kong Mosa, he could barely escape from Rupert. But Sibylla couldn't do it at all. She wasn't even an intermediate demon. Smoke rose from her skin. Rupert turned around and kicked Sibylla to the ground, holding the perfect angelic crystal in her hand. Go away, go away. Rupert, I was wrong. For the sake of me and your teacher, please let me go. Ms. Sibylla, this isn't the first time you've lied to me. Smiling, Rupert slowly approached Sibylla with the perfect angelic crystal. To Sibylla, this was a source of radiation. Also, do you think I have the right to decide your fate? I can teach you how to control the soul in your body. Rupert had to admit that Sibyllla's suggestion was very tempting. But being tempted was one thing. More importantly, Chun Zhao didn't care whether he was tempted or not. Rupert didn't think that she could go against Chun Zhao just because she controlled 1/3 of Kong Mosa's soul. This time, she'd truly witnessed Chun Zhao's scariest side. Legendary demons weren't as scary as Chun Zhao. After Kong Mosa's demon territory was taken away, Chun Zhao could feel that he was becoming stronger. The demon territory and his small world supported each other. But while Kong Mosa's demon territory belonged to him, there was a condition for using it. That was, he needed the demon army. If he killed them all, then Kong Mosa's demon territory would also be destroyed. Chapter 1238. These demons were all controlled by the demonic territory. They couldn't resist Chun Zhao's orders. Plus, their master was still in Chun Zhao's hands. But it seemed that Kong Mosa was in a terrible state. He was unbelievably weak. Those who are willing to be sealed, stand on the left, Chun Zhao said. Those who don't can die. All the demons looked at each other. Whether it was being sealed or dying, neither was a good choice. Moreover, most of them were arrogant and unruly. They even felt that if they fought head-on, they might have a chance of winning. Gaia, and the others were also prepared. As soon as Chun Zhao gave the order, they would start a massacre. But there were only a few dozen demons who chose to continue. The others all chose to retreat and stood on the right. Chun Zhao raised his right arm. Since the demons had chosen to fight, they were naturally quite strong. Demon Cannon. A chasm was left in the empty space in front of the headquarters. There was nothing but some debris in the chasm. Everyone and all the demons stared at Chun Zhao. The place was silent. The demons who had chosen to be sealed all broke out in a cold sweat. Their faces were drained of blood from fear. Kikira was frightened too. At this moment, she finally understood why Chun Zhao had such high prestige in the supernatural organization. Why no one had wavered before Chun Zhao gave the order. Even though Gaia and the others had fought so fiercely during the day, even though their stamina and magic power had been depleted by more than half, they still didn't retreat. This was because Chun Zhao hadn't really attacked yet. As long as Chun Zhao was here, the outcome was still unknown. Chun Zhao secretly felt that it was a pity. He had killed so many powerful demons again. The demonic territory he'd taken from Kong Mosa was much weaker now. But to Chun Zhao, the demonic territory wasn't very useful to him. Moreover, he couldn't bring a large group of demons everywhere. In the end, the demon army would at most stay in the headquarters. If enemies attacked the organization again, he would have more choices. President, it won't be easy to seal so many demons, West said, walking up. Will be a disaster if we let them out, Chun Zhao said. Then kill them all. The demons thought that they had escaped, but when they heard Chun Zhao's words, they peed their pants in fear. President, how about this? Let's manage them the same way as Lady Pamela's evil spirit group. We'll just seal some of the troublemakers, and the more docile demons will temporarily stay in the headquarters and work for us. What was West's greatest wish? The powerful supernatural organization. Now, there was such an opportunity in front of him. There were so many demons. If they could tame them all, it would be a huge boost for the supernatural organization. Write me a report on how to deal with them, Chun Zhao said. Jerlin had already leaped to his feet. Dad, you're the best. Chun Zhao was still carrying Kong Mosa, so it was really inconvenient for him to carry Jerlin. Gaia rushed up and took little Jerlin away. Chun Zhao squeezed hard and strangled Kong Mosa to death. In any case, there was no point in keeping this fellow. Chun Zhao would never let an enemy live, especially one that was useless to him. However, things were not over yet. Everyone would be busy tonight. Take Halle's, for example. After the battle, Halle's wandered among the demon corpses. Others didn't want to go near the corpses, but it was a rare treasure for Halle's. She wanted to find suitable corpses to use as a medium for her necromancy. Another example would be Get Kira and Donya Tianchi. Both of them were collecting demon blood, skin, and bones. These were all good forging materials or magic materials. Jalig and Padalu went to collect the angelic crystals around them. Angelic crystals were indeed good for defense against demons, but they were also a huge threat to the evil spirit group. Chun Zhao didn't let Pamela and the other evil spirits participate in the battle tonight because he wanted to use the angelic crystals. Also, if the association wanted to control these demons in the future, they couldn't let the angelic crystals continue to be scattered outside. Plus, Agar's was a demon too. She couldn't stand the dense, holy power covering the ground. Of course, to the people of the association, everything was fine now that the battle was over. Why haven't you scrammed yet? Chun Zhao looked at the cowering Prague and the others. Prague and the others were speechless. Without your permission, would we dare to leave? You're a demon king. Lit Grove walked up and threatened them. Oh, if you dare to tell anyone about my teacher and what happened here, I promise you and your families won't live for more than 3 days. The four of them turned pale with fright. Chun Zhao saw that Lit Grove was holding a very thick fong. It was still stained with blood. Why are you holding this fong? Teacher, this is the fong of the first demon I killed. It's my trophy. Lit Grove was very excited and proud. He planned to make the fong into a pendant. When he was old in the future, he would give this pendant to his grandson and tell him about his heroic deeds in the past. Oh, you can kill a demon too? Chun Zhao didn't expect this. Lit Grove's awaken ability was to see through weaknesses, but his body was only slightly stronger than a normal person's. He didn't expect that he could actually kill a demon. Teacher, I've entered the Tower of Trials more than 20 times, Lit Grove said. Ritter Grove felt that he had to show off his abilities to Chun Zhao. Of course, he wasn't so naive to think that he could go against Chun Zhao. He just wanted to prove that he wasn't as useless as Chun Zhao thought. Today was too exciting for him. Lit Grove liked this kind of atmosphere. He hoped that next time something like this happened, Chun Zhao would bring him along. Oh, did you ask for leave today? Fine, I was just joking with you. Since you did so well today, you can rest for a few days. Then, Chun Zhao ignored everyone else and went to play with Jerlin. It wasn't too late yet, but Jerlin didn't want to sleep yet. Chapter 1239. Mr. West, why do you have to do this? Hellies looked at West, who was hung upside down in front of the headquarters. Last night, West had caused a huge death. He knocked on Chun Zhao's door in the middle of the night. Then, the people who hadn't slept and were still working heard Jerlin's cries from Chun Zhao's room. Then, they saw Chun Zhao angrily drag West and hang him at the door. West had begged many people, but no one helped him. It was West's fault for causing trouble. They didn't want to get on Chun Zhao's bad side. In the morning, Chun Zhao went to West with a dark expression. Why did you find me last night? President, put me down first. I don't dare to do it again. After West was put on the ground, he couldn't even stand up. His feet were already numb. Tell me, what's the matter? President, I've thought of a solution. Take a look. Chun Zhao took West's report. West had thought about it for an entire night. It was a proposal to deal with the demons. First of all, those who committed crimes will be directly sealed. There was nothing much to say about this. Leaving them in the headquarters would only bring trouble. Secondly, some demons with better moral conduct and obedience would stay in the headquarters for the time being. They'd work for them for a few years and then decide whether to keep them or not. West had also made a very detailed plan. In fact, some of these demons had already integrated into human society. But since they participated in the attack on the supernatural organization, they couldn't just say that they weren't willing to be released, right? That way, there would definitely be more enemies attacking in the future. The organization had to maintain enough deterrence. Moreover, they needed some manpower too. For example, some construction projects. These demons were good manpower. As long as Chun Zhao could suppress them, West didn't think there was anything wrong with using these demons as laborers. Want to reject? Sure, go talk to Chun Zhao. See if Chun Zhao would agree. Just then, Klaus ran over. Judging from his face, he hadn't slept at all. President. Klaus went straight to the point. President, we want a few demons. You? Demons? Chun Zhao looked at Klaus and the others. What do you want? Be our helpers and mounts. We chose a few demons and made contact with them. They were willing to obey us, Klaus said. Then we asked Jolig and Padalu to help us design a collar that could be used to restrain demons. The condition is 10 years. Chun Zhao thought for a moment. Okay, go talk to them yourselves. In fact, there weren't many demons that were suitable to be Klaus's mounts. This was because most of these demons were in the form of beasts or birds and were considered low-level demons. At the start of the war, most of them had been killed by the people of the association. There weren't many left. It was probably only enough to arm Klaus's lightning squad. It was obviously impossible to equip every member of the association with a demonic mount. Of course, if they were willing to sit on the shoulders or head of the humanoid devil, that would be a different story. The arrival of these demons did not change anything for the association. At least, everything was normal. However, before these demons were completely organized and managed, Chun Zhao still had to stay here. The evil demon army had indeed brought some combat power to the association. However, it was a defensive type of combat power. In other words, when enemies of the same kind attacked, they could be useful, but bring them out? It was impossible. A group of demons could cause chaos in Los Angeles just by going out for a stroll, unless they could transform into a human like Thomas Bailey. But after Kong Mosa's resurrection, They had lost the ability to transform. Kong Mosa's resurrection had not only increased their combat power, but the demonic power had also distorted them. However, the demonic power that Kong Mosa had given them would gradually fade, because Kong Mosa was already dead. Therefore, they might be able to regain their past abilities in a few years or decades. If demons wanted to hide in human society, the first thing they had to do was to transform into humans. When they were first released from the seal, it had taken them a long time to integrate into human society. Now, they had to go through this process again. Of course, a large portion of them could not transform into humans in the first place. For example, those in the form of beasts. They wander in the wild all year round with wild beasts. Some are not affected by the demonic power and could still transform into humans freely. These are the weaker ones, so Kong Mosa's second demonic power contamination did not affect them too much. Feilai and Zhurlin returned to Mirror Lake to live. However, Chun Zhao had another idea. He could use Kong Mosa's demonic domain to create another exclusive spell. At the moment, Chun Zhao's exclusive spells were 10,000 spells for one demon god cannon and strip that the handsome guy had created for him. Both the 10,000 spells returned to one and the demon god cannon had extremely strong offensive capabilities, which significantly increased one's combat power. Strip, on the other hand, was more special. It could only be used against special enemies and under special circumstances. The increase in combat power was not obvious. Kong Mosa had not reached the state of emptiness, so even though he had mastered the demonic domain, he could not comprehend it. However, Chun Zhao had mastered it, so there was no such thing as not being able to create exclusive spells. Chun Zhao named Kong Mosa's demonic domain Darkness Descent. Basically, it caused dark clouds to gather and created low-pressure air. The effect was the same as Chun Zhao's Small World. It increased one's mana source and sped up mana recovery. The only difference was that Chun Zhao's Small World absorbed spiritual energy, while Darkness Descent absorbed the demonic power of the demon army. In terms of visual perception, Darkness Descent was more visually impactful. In reality, it was not very effective. Chun Zhao lifted his hand and pointed at the sky. Darkness Descent started gathering. Dark clouds filled the sky above the headquarters. However, because the demon army had decreased in numbers, the range of Darkness Descent was very limited. With the headquarters as the center, it could cover a radius of 12 square kilometers. It could barely cover the entire headquarters. The Eye of the Thunder on Chun Zhao's arm turned electricity into ions and released them into the air. Chun Zhao discovered that as the ions dispersed, they were completely restricted within the range of Darkness Descent due to the low-pressure air. However, these ions also carried Chun Zhao's magic power, allowing him to clearly grasp every inch of the entire headquarters and every area. Chapter 1240. The people in the association realized that the sky was filled with dark clouds. They all thought that something had happened again. But since Chun Zhao was in the association, they had nothing to fear. Soon, they realized that the dark clouds seemed to be controlled by Chun Zhao. A bolt of lightning struck before Chun Zhao. Chun Zhao looked around, and a smile appeared on his face. Boom! A bolt of lightning struck West's head. Ah! President, I'm being attacked. I'm being attacked. Chun Zhao could accurately grasp the accuracy and power of the attack. Within the association, he could strike whoever he wanted. Chun Zhao released even more ions. They scattered in the air. Everyone's hair stood on end. Just then, Chun Zhao's body floated up slightly. Lightning flashed, and thunder rumbled in the sky. A huge pillar of lightning struck down. Of course, this electric current wasn't attacking anyone. Instead, it landed on a shelf nearby. The shelf shattered with a loud bang. This bolt of lightning was already very fatal. Chun Zhao started to control the lightning densely and hit the lake's surface continuously. It was as if there were countless grenades hidden in the lake. They kept exploding and splashing everywhere. At the same time, the fish in the lake were hit until their bellies turned white. Chun Zhao didn't stop until the lightning lasted for more than 10 minutes. It was another exclusive spell, but this spell had a weakness. It wasn't very effective against a single target. If it was a normal person, it could indeed cause a large area of damage. But if it was an enemy at Kong Mosa's level, then it would be difficult for the spell to cause fatal damage. Of course, this was a weakness, but the advantage was also very obvious. It covered a large area and consumed very little energy. Chun Zhao could last for a few hours and continuously strike the area with lightning. It wouldn't be a problem even if he plowed the entire area of the headquarters. If there was another large-scale attack like the demon army, Chun Zhao wouldn't have to do so much preparation. As long as this place was struck by lightning for a few hours, everything here would definitely be reduced to ashes. Another advantage was the accuracy of the hit rate, and the control of the power could be done at will. Moreover, after releasing the ions, Chun Zhao could accurately sense the movements of all living beings in the area around the headquarters. The members of the association could also tell that Chun Zhao was experimenting with a new spell. As for the strike on West, it was probably intentional. They also knew that Chun Zhao had very powerful lightning spells. But this time, the magic looked very shocking. Guild leader, is this your new spell? Harold stepped forward and asked. Yes, it's a new spell specially developed for the defense of the headquarters. West rubbed his head and walked over with a sad face. Guild leader, can you not make such a joke next time? I'm still trying. I can't control it well. West wouldn't believe that. Judging from Chun Zhao's expression, he'd clearly done it on purpose. President, what is this spell called? Lightning Storm, Chun Zhao said casually. To be honest, neither the Demon God Cannon nor the 10,000 techniques returned to one were as useful as the Lightning Tempest. 10,000 spells returned to one was an absolute single-target spell. The Demon God Cannon was a small area spell. In terms of single-target attacks, it could not compare to 10,000 spells returned to one. Lightning Storm, on the other hand, was a group spell. It was Chun Zhao's favorite type of spell. Unfortunately, this spell could only be used in the headquarters of the association. He wouldn't be able to use it outside of here. Everything was based on Kong Mosa's demonic domain, Darkness Descends. Without Darkness Descends, Chun Zhao couldn't use Lightning Storm. Speaking of which, if Kong Mosa had this spell that day, even if Chun Zhao could win, the headquarters would suffer heavy casualties. Fortunately, Kong Mosa was just a dabbler. However, Chun Zhao was curious about how Kong Mosa had turned humans into demons. Chun Zhao had potions that could turn humans into demons, but they were mixed-blood demons. They wouldn't be like Kong Mosa and turn humans into complete demons. If Kong Mosa had enough time, he could create even more demon armies. Chun Zhao probably wouldn't be able to deal with it as easily as that day. However, he still had to find Kong Mosa's body. Who knew if something would happen to Kong Mosa's body if it was left outside? After this battle, Chun Zhao also realized that the association needed a healer. When the four from Prague returned to school, they heard a piece of news. Their classmate, Jill, had died in a car accident. They immediately thought that this must be the result of the supernatural organization's arrangements. They were sad for Jill's death. However, this also saved them a lot of trouble. After all, if they had to explain it, they wouldn't know how to answer the question about Jill's death. The experience of these 2 days and 2 nights was also extraordinary for them. From their worldview to their outlook on life, they had undergone major changes. In the past, the third and fourth types of contact they'd been pursuing were just interests to them. But suddenly, they realized that what they'd been pursuing actually existed. Moreover, the truth was crueler than they'd guessed. Jill's death and the battle a few days ago were enough to explain everything. Of course, the one who shocked them the most was the Chinese. That scary Chinese. Honey, I was really worried when you were gone for 2 days. Where did you go? I couldn't get through to you. Prague's smile was slightly forced. He looked at his boyfriend, Peter. Nothing, just a club activity. Your paranormal society again. Peter had never liked Prague going to the paranormal society. Yes. Your society Somans has always liked you. He's been pursuing you. There's nothing like that. We're just classmates with common interests. Prague explained. If you mention this again, then let's break up. Fine, I was wrong, Prague. I won't mention it anymore, Peter said quickly. Come with me to the sea in a few days. See? Yeah, my friend has a marine exploration team. They're going to explore the Pacific Ocean. Don't you like these weird things? Maybe you'll encounter something mysterious. Exploration team? Are you sure we can join the exploration team? No problem. I talked to my friend. 2 spots is not a problem. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.